here is that the science that is now being revealed shows that Alabama was absolutely right, and that we have perpetuated not only a fraud on kids and parents, but we've actually allowed for harm to take place
Permanent
to
harm.
them long term. Yeah. And I think this is going to be one the historians write about, maybe one of the greatest medical travesties that we've seen.
I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
On November 15th, you can have dinner with Eric Metaxas right here in Alabama. Metaxas, the author of Bonhoeffer and Letter to the American Church, will keynote 1819 News' first annual Albert Patterson Gala on November 15th at the Barber Motorsports Event Center in Birmingham. To learn more and sponsor a table, visit 1819news.com/gala. Again, that's Eric Metaxas on November 15th. Go to 1819news.com/gala to learn more.
A corrections officer is being charged with using his job for personal gain. William Todd is accused of taking cigarettes and 2 gold chains from an inmate while he was being booked into the Kilby Correctional Facility. Those gold chains have been returned to the inmate, and Todd admitted to taking them. Todd has since resigned from his position. The president of the Mobile Airport Authority is now leaving his position. Chris Curry announced that he resigns after discussing the plan with the board of directors. Curry was first hired as executive director at the Mobile Airport Authority in 2017. He then became the president in 2018. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
I'm Wes Allen, Secretary of State. In Alabama, election integrity is a top priority. We must ensure fair, secure, and transparent elections. To vote in Alabama, state law requires voters to present a valid form of photo identification. For a complete list of acceptable identification, or to learn more about acquiring a free photo voter ID, visit alabamavotes.gov.
This message is presented by Alabama Secretary of State Wes Allen.
Join Jones Drugs on Saturday, October 26th from 10 to 2 as they partner with the police department for the National DEA Drug Take Back event. Come by the parking lot of the Prattville, Millbrook, Montgomery, and Phoenix City locations and bring your unwanted, unneeded, or expired prescriptions. That's Saturday, October 26th, 10 to 2.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
You want free speech? Let's see you acknowledge a man whose words make your blood boil, who's standing center stage and advocating at the top of his lungs that which you would spend a lifetime opposing at the top of yours.
I'm a better looking person than Kamala. This is a Trump country. We live in the Southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the Friday program. Joe Rogan, Donald Trump meeting today, I think recording as we speak. The momentum seems to be going Trump's way. And we have a little bit of a change of pace, though, because I'm tired of yelling about national things. We'll get into all that. But J.D. Vance's performance on his town hall last night was just fantastic. But in the studio here, Eddie Bader's a little late, and it worked out because Craig Munger's here, too. But Brian Dawson, we hadn't seen him in the studio for a while. How you doing, Brian?
Fantastic, Joey. Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's not true, because the reason that I'm here is because I'm having some mental health issues that I needed to vent about, and I appreciate you.
You look good. Like, personally, you seem good, but what's going on here?
Craig's got me on a good diet. I'm losing weight. I haven't started hitting the weights yet. I get in a home gym, so I avoid the skanks in the gym.
Wise.
Yeah, got to do that. Got a 15-year-old son that works out with me too, and
Oh, that's very wise then.
Yeah.
Or you could always go to Express Fitness where I go lift. There's no, it ain't a skanky place.
Yeah.
People are there to lift and do work.
Swanky, not skanky.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is.
It's old school, but we've been slowly, vaguely covering everything going on with Kent Davis.
Yes.
And Governor Ivey. I was asking Jeff Poore about it earlier this week. Like, I can't make heads or tails of it because on the surface of it, it seems very petty and vindictive on the governor's part. I suppose she does have the legal authority, but this is what's been a bee in your bonnet of late, right?
Well, it's that's a piece of it. Okay. And then the story that broke this morning that Erica Thomas did on our state health officer. And so really it's a state agency head thing, okay. The head of state agency.
It's all
so
convoluted.
The director of Alabama Department of put insert here. Okay.
Right.
So public health, transportation, Veterans Affairs, mental health, right? So we have all these Alabama Department of, whatever. The heads of these would be directors of that state agency. And the inability of our governor to apply standards equally across these departments on what she expects of these people is infuriating to me, specifically as it pertains to how she handled the situation with Kent Davis, who's one of the very few state agency heads in the state who is doing a bang-up job, that everyone, all the veterans loved him. The board that appointed him loved him, so much so that they were willing to go to the war, go to war with the governor over it. He was beloved and doing a phenomenal job, and he was actually helping veterans. And we have a problem with veterans' mental health in the state of Alabama, and he was doing a great job to rectify it. And then you put that up against, I don't know how Scott Harris is doing, and maybe John Cooper. And so Scott Harris is the head of the Alabama Department of Public Health. He is Alabama's Fauci, if you remember that.
Yes.
And then John Cooper is the head of the Alabama Department of Transportation. And so I'm going to read a little bit of this story that I read this morning that caused me to twitch and, kind of
go for it.
Yeah. Okay. So hopefully it has the same effect on all of you. Maybe not, but here we go. So the headline of the article that Erica wrote is State Health Officer Scott Harris named president of Soros-linked national org with focus on health equity. And so we remember Scott Harris. You remember a few years ago, there was a cold going around that was pretty serious, and there were some pretty stringent responses. Well, Scott Harris basically became Lord Protector of the state of Alabama, and he was just ushered into telling everyone what to do, from mask mandates to curfews to shutting down businesses and saying who's essential and not, and making children wear masks in schools when the schools did open back up, and putting a face diaper on for 8 hours a day while they were trying to learn. That guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the guy we're talking about here. So Alabama State Health Officer Dr. Scott Harris was named president of the Association of State and Territorial Health Officials. The nonprofit represents public health agencies and public health officials nationwide and has ties to George Soros. ASTHCHO, whatever it is, focuses on health equity and states its partners must advocate for changes to maximize health and address inequities that exist among groups based on geographic location, income, education, race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, and disability. We have a very specific focus on racism and structural racism. We know that health equity includes LGBTQIA+ as well. This is a work that we have to do in partnership, and we're committed to the work of anti-racism. Well, that's great. We promote truth, racial healing, and transformation framework that was started at the Kellogg Foundation. And this group with the Kellogg Foundation calls for the dismantling of national narrative that perpetuates colonial systems and white supremacy.
Wow.
And the creation of a new narrative that centers belief in equal humanity for all people. So, I guess the simplest way of saying what I'm trying to say is this guy who completely wreaked havoc on us, that we all knew was essentially a commie, and did all of these things through COVID that he should have been fired for. I believe his performance through COVID should have gotten him fired. He was not fired. And if that wasn't enough, Harris was seen in public, reported only by 1819 News, of course. We had a reporter in this place. He thought he was like in a friendly group of commies and whatevers. And so he was speaking very freely. He didn't know that one of our reporters was in the room. And he basically said he was appalled by Alabama's gender affirming care laws. And basically what he means is our VCAP legislation, the fact that we actually have state legislation that prevents children from going through transitioning surgeries. Right. Okay. And he was appalled by that legislation. And he said that. And then when we reported on it, he said that we were lying. And so then we published a story with the audio of his full speech.
Wow.
Okay. So this guy should have been fired after that as well, in my opinion.
Yes.
Okay. But the reason that he couldn't be fired is because he's not appointed by the governor. He doesn't serve at the pleasure of the governor. He serves at the pleasure of this board that's made up of people from the Medical Association of the state of Alabama, MASA. You gotta love that one. And they appoint him. And so the governor, there's nothing I can do. He's appointed by this board. There's nothing I can do. And it was such a problem that in the last legislative session, they changed the law to where now that board gives the governor a list of people, and then the governor chooses, and then that gives her the ability to fire and replace, but it's replaced on an approved list. I would prefer that it wasn't a list. I would just wish the governor could pick that person like she does some of the other state agencies.
Right.
But either way, the legislature rectified that situation, at least in some, and it was rectified with legislation because it was a problem that she couldn't fire him, and that's what we were led to believe. Well, do you know who else, Joey, is appointed by a board?
Oh, yeah. Kent Davis.
Kent Davis, the guy that she just unilaterally fired. He was also appointed by a board of the head of a bunch of different veterans groups. And so should have had that same protection.
Yeah.
But I believe Gina Mayola, the governor's spokesperson, said that Ivy used, and here it is, this is the word I told you, I don't know what to do with this language. It kind of gets me a little bit excited. Her supreme executive power of this state to immediately remove him from his position. And so we see now that Kay Ivy's been sleeping on this supreme executive power of this state that she could have used with Scott Harris, but chose not to. Well, what was Kent Davis guilty of? They aren't really saying, it's really kind of all around the place, but what it looks like is that when a state agency director files an ethics complaint against another state agency, that's a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
He did that. Of course, the ethics commission just laughed at it and threw it away.
With many of the board members backing him up.
Correct.
Yes.
And so he, as a well-respected veteran, an admiral, a rear admiral, okay, those are some bona fides there that you would trust. If he feels this is such a big deal that he needs to file an ethics complaint, there's probably something there. But the ethics complaint was basically laughed away, and then he came under crazy scrutiny for doing that, and was essentially, they tried to push him out. And Ivy tried to get the board to fire him. He went ahead and resigned because, then the board didn't accept his resignation, okay, and was like, no, you need to stay. And he said, okay, I guess I'm staying. And when he essentially refused to step down, I'm sure there's more details than this, but I'm kind of summing it all up. She then exercised her supreme executive power of the state to fire him. Okay, and so here is a guy that was actually doing his job, that was actually beloved by the people that he was serving, and being very effective in his position as the head of the state agency, who saw some concerns with the Alabama Department of Mental Health, its relationship with Alta Point, which is a mental health organization that there's always seems to be something going on with them. And basically their monopoly on mental health funds, and why aren't more funds going to organizations that we see that are actually effective at helping veterans with mental health and things like that? No, money's not, or not enough money is going to those organizations, and we don't really know what is happening with the money and where it's actually going.
We're talking from the big pool of money that was ARPA funding. He wanted something like $7 million for his department because they are actually in contact, actually touch veterans.
Yeah, and I would love to see where that money's being spent and what is actually happening. So that's that. But let's go into another one, okay? Another state agency head. The Alabama Department of Transportation head, John Cooper. If you guys will remember, I don't know, it was a year and a half ago, whatever it was. There was some traffic congestion issues in Orange Beach, and they wanted to essentially buy the Baldwin County Bridge Company's bridge that goes over the canal onto Canal Road in Orange Beach. And it felt very mafia-esque how he went about it to me. It's a nice bridge you got there. Be a shame if someone went a mile down the road and built one that let people across for free. Right? And so he went to them and said, hey, the state would like to buy this bridge. How much do you want? And it's a very profitable bridge. The toll was not very, crazy high. People used it all the time. They were making money. And so they said, okay, well, yeah, we'll sell it to you at X. It was probably 5X, 5 years of profit would have been, whatever the fair market price was, they said, we'll sell it. And he said, no, that's too much. Here, I'll offer you pennies on the dollar. No, we don't want to sell. Okay, well, I'm going to go down the road and build a bridge, a free bridge. Now it's he's called it a free bridge, but it was, it cost $20 million to the taxpayers for that free bridge, quote unquote free. But by putting a free bridge a mile away from the toll bridge was going to go out of business. And so this got caught up in court here in Montgomery, and a judge here in Montgomery wrote an 80-page scathing rebuke, basically saying it was the worst corruption he had seen. And again, I'm paraphrasing here, but an 80-page scathing rebuke about what John Cooper did and his what I would say, kind of my opinion, would be his abuse of police powers to do that. And while this is going on, while this judge is writing this 80-page scathing rebuke about his behavior and what he's done with this bridge, he gets arrested for threatening to shoot his neighbor.
Oh, yeah.
Over a land dispute in Marshall County. Okay, so that's going on. John Cooper still has his job. Okay, and of course, he's weaseled his way out of everything. I think the guy ended up dropping the charges. They're going to settle it out of court that he threatened to shoot, allegedly. And then the Supreme Court ruled on that judge's 80-page scathing rebuke and basically said, whether that's correct or not, that court didn't have jurisdiction to make that ruling. And so he has gotten out of both of these things. But either way, these things occurred, okay? And as those things occurred, he continued to have his job. And so you have these two people, Scott Harris, who locked us down and treated us like we were, Soviet plebes during COVID and all of these other things. He has his job. Alabama Department of Transportation had John Cooper doing all the things he's done. He still has his job. But Kent Davis, who's actually doing a phenomenal job and raised some concerns about the movement of mental health funds and how it was actually being used, he's got to go. We got to fire him.
And it seems because that's why I first said it seemed personal and petty.
Yeah.
And these two, with Scott Harris and John Cooper, it didn't touch the governor.
No.
But for some reason, I think him trying to grab ARPA funds for very good reasons and good use somehow set off the governor's office.
Yeah.
And because he defied her, and I think also this board essentially defying her, not just in voting to say, we don't want you to resign, sir.
Yeah.
Also being, I think it was 3 of them that were part of the ethics complaint as witnesses backing him up. So it seemed like, okay, if you're going to cross me, that's when I'll use my supreme executive authority, not when there's actually problems going on with other department heads.
Correct.
Man.
Yeah. No, and it's...
God bless Alabama.
I've calmed down quite a bit to come in and share the story. I was really worked up this morning as I was reading it, and it irks me every single time I see anything that has to do with Scott Harris or John Cooper. And then, of course, when the stuff against John Cooper, when the criminal charges were dropped by the guy that was, accusing him of threatening to shoot him, allegedly. Got to throw that in there.
Sure.
Yellowhammer writes an article that says he was vindicated. I'm like, is that what that is? Was that vindicated? Really? And we won't mention Alabama Department of Transportation influence on the media that we uncovered. Craig, was that you?
Yes, it was.
And how much did Alabama Department of Transportation give the Alabama Political Reporter for click it or ticket ads?
It was over 6 figures.
Yeah, it's $128,000 or something like that. So $128,000 from AlDOT to this publication for these ads.
And not to mention this relationship where they have to, with the bid process, they have to place ads in all these papers that are barely surviving.
Yeah.
And then I also learned the contractor wins the bid, then has to place ads for work in those same places. And I just, my suspicions say there are plenty of good people in these agencies who think this is antiquated because obviously if you're a major contractor, you know where to go on the website when they post it on the website. But as soon as some legislator, who probably is a good person, says, yeah, this is antiquated, we don't need these bid ads in all these newspapers, the Alabama Media Group will show up at their doorstep with their lobbyists.
Yeah.
And so it is, to your point, from Craig's reporting about how much went to Political Reporter to how much these legacy medias rely on this, it is fascinating the web that is woven behind the scenes.
and we take none of that money, and we just report the truth. Okay, and
Amen.
so in the midst of us,
But I am susceptible to bribes if there's any state agencies out there.
they have to be $128,000 or
Yes. Yes, we can do some under the table dealings. I'll write very positive stories about you. You have my word.
Well, somebody asked me the other day that somebody asked them, like, can Joey be bought? And I imagine myself as Han Solo going, well, I can imagine quite a lot. Like, the answer is no. But, like how much? $1 billion? Sure. I'll join Musk in the team and then and I'll use it against you after you give it to me. It is nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And especially coming back to the story Erica Thomas put out today, that this is all hardcore left-wing corporatist globalist crap.
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised that the Kellogg Foundation, like all these foundations set up by great corporate giants before, are now straight up left-wing George Soros stuff.
Yeah.
And so this is the guy that is protected, that almost seems to have more power than a governor or an elected official.
Yeah.
Scott Harris. And he's now part of this whole group that how is this happening in Alabama?
Yeah.
This is the point you've been making for a few years now.
Yeah. It's insane. And again, anytime we would leverage things like when he would come out and say, that he was appalled by our legislation that prevents children from getting transitioning and, surgically, he was appalled by that. And it's like, we're pretty sure that he's not an average Alabamian, guys.
Right.
And he would be like, no, I am. And by the way, I'm going to go be the president of this full-blown commie organization.
Well, and that's what's amazed me over these last few years. I think a lot of people have woken up to the untouchables in the federal government, like the folks that can work with impunity. Like Dr. Fauci ever get consequences?
No, he's got Secret Service protection and still making massive amounts of money from the government.
Yeah, and the lab leak is obvious.
Yeah.
The funding, and like no virologists have paid a price for that, but they're untouchable. And you see this in many fronts of the federal government. But when you start looking at Alabama, the bureaucrats here, even stuff like, say, the library board, they really don't like it when elected, say, folks tell them how a library should be run.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing, these bureaucratic professionals with, credentials, they seem almost anti-democratic when it comes to their own turf.
Sure.
And to get away with things that they know the vast majority of the population, even if you're looking at just a local issue, does not want. It's remarkable that y'all are doing this work uncovering it, but it's also remarkable that this is even going on in the first place.
Yeah, in Alabama.
Yeah.
Ruby Red, Alabama.
Goodness, like I might expect it in Huntsville.
Yeah.
Like, because, that's a whole thing. That's a whole other
It's its own
question
thing.
we might ask. But, well, I appreciate you laying all that out, man.
Sure.
Dadgum. Because I didn't put it all together. I saw this story today and went, yeah, more of the same crap. But when you put it all together, why is it that the governor used her discretion, her supreme executive authority in this particular instance? And especially during the COVID years, you couldn't find Kay Ivey.
Yeah.
Except at some of those hearings, and there's Scott Harris standing behind her like a vampire. Like, you say the right things. This place, Montgomery in particular, lovely little city. But when you get over to the State House, I guess they'll have a new one before too long.
Yeah.
Thank you, RSA. You get over to the State House, it does seem like a completely different world than if you, say, go to rural Alabama. Or you go to other parts of
Montgomery.
the Montgomery, yeah.
Yeah. And I always say, there's so much beautiful about our state. Really, the ugly part about our state is our government.
Yeah.
Right. Alabama the beautiful, except our government.
We're behind with, look at how gangbusters Florida is. Tennessee is. Georgia's got its problems, but Georgia's doing all right too.
Yeah.
Mississippi's already catching up to us on many things.
Yeah. And I've got a whole nother rant we can do. I'm sure you got to go to a commercial at some point, so I don't want to rant yet. But I've got a whole nother rant I can go into and what you just brought up with how Florida's doing things versus how we're doing things.
Absolutely. And in a second, we'll hit a break. Real quick, though, I think as we speak, Donald Trump is sitting down with Joe Rogan.
Unbelievable.
And to me, this isn't like just a big political thing. The momentum is clearly in Trump's favor. He just is now beating Kamala in the Real Clear Politics average polls. It just, the feeling of it is there, and the desperation of calling him Hitler. We'll get into all that a little later in the show, but aside from the politics, just what a media event this is.
Well, you have said, so when I used to come on every Friday, and now Craig has become my replacement because I've got to travel the state shaking babies and kissing hands. You said when Vivek was doing this, okay, Vivek, how did he go from being someone that no one knew about to someone that everyone knew about? It's not because he went on Fox News. It's not because he went on CNN. It's because he hit every single major podcast, from Theo Vaughn to Andrew Schultz to Rogan to he went on the podcast circuit, and then all of a sudden everyone knew about who he is. And all those people do not watch Fox News and CNN for good reason.
Yeah.
But you called that, a year ago.
Well, and I first started really thinking about it. I mean, I've been thinking about it for years, hoping this would happen. But when I saw RFK Jr. on with Jordan Peterson, RFK Jr. predicted this could be the year in the same way that my uncle, Jack Kennedy, beat Nixon on TV in that debate. Yeah. And TV became the big thing to use to win elections. And it wasn't just that debate, it was the ad campaigns and all this stuff. RFK was wondering, is this now, with social media and podcasts, the year where they overtake TV?
Yeah.
And I think it is.
The decentralization of mass media will be what preserves liberty in our land.
Amen. Amen. And that's a wholesome, hopeful note to end on. But we got another rant coming up. Y'all stay tuned. This part of the program brought to you by Clearwater's Property Management. And they're at Clearwater's. Reed Waters and the team they're ready to help you out with tree trimming, stump grinding, and full-on tree removal. You don't have to wait for that tree to fall either. Especially if you're noticing it looks kind of dead compared to the other trees around it, or it's really swaying in the wind. Say you got an 80-footer that's going 8 to 10 feet either direction when it gets real windy. You might want to take care of that before it falls in the house or the carport or the garage or something. And of course, tree trimming, maybe you're tired of driving through a bush when you're going up the driveway. Could be you have line of sight issues, or you'd like to see around your property better, or you just want it to look nicer in general. And of course, stump grinding, pretty self-explanatory. They can get rid of that ugly eyesore that is a stump. And it's not just ugly. It attracts all sorts of pests you probably don't want on your property as well. So call up Reed Waters and the team there at Clearwater's Property Management at 430-0376. That's 430-0376. And be sure to tell them that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage.
And I'm Madeline Cannon. And we have some exciting news to share with you. We've been serving the state of Alabama for many, many years. And now we are able and ready to offer the same great mortgage financing in Georgia and Florida as well.
Our company may be Alabama Home Mortgage, but now we can finance your Georgia home mortgage and your Florida home mortgage too. We couldn't be more excited to extend our customer base to our neighboring states. For years, we have had customers call us in hopes we could assist them with purchasing their vacation cabin in North Georgia or their dream home in Florida. And now we can. For those of you who have family and friends that live in Florida and Georgia, be sure to tell them the good news.
Whether you are looking to purchase or refinance a home located in Alabama, Georgia, or Florida, you owe it to yourself to give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time.
It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
This is Jim Smith with Adams Drugs. Adams Drugs has been advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting for over a decade and have gone from 7 stores to 12 stores. We attribute our success for what they've done for us. Thank you, Blue Water Broadcasting.
Blue Water Broadcasting is the #1 most listened to radio group in the River region. Find out how to put this reach to work for your business. Call us to find out how we can help. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Well, hi, everybody. I would not be surprised if we get to another record high of 88 today. We tied one yesterday, and I think we're going to tie one today. Sunshine today, clear, mild tonight, overnight low temperature down to about 59. Now, tomorrow, I've got us around 88 for a high. The record is 90 on Saturday, more sun. There is a weak front that'll move through the state Saturday night into Sunday. Could there be a stray shower somewhere along that front? I suppose, but the chances are very minute. Behind the front, Sunday's high 84, Monday 78. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Thank you for voting ASC Credit Union, the best credit union in the River Region 6 years in a row. As we celebrate our 70th anniversary, we are proud to be at the top of the list for the best credit union in the hearts of the communities we serve.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. This part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting. And there at River Region Contracting, Todd Clark and his team are ready to help you out with that roof of yours. Could be an asphalt or metal roof. Either should be inspected on a regular basis. Manufacturers say every 3 to 5 years for basic preventative maintenance, but especially with Alabama's elements, with our climate here, why not do it every year? And the great news is when you do that with River Region Contracting, their inspections are always free. And their estimates are always free. They're also accurate. They show up on time. They get the job done well. And when they're doing the job, they're not going to be like, hey, kid, go away. You're bothering me. They're going to actually be happy to say, here's the exact problem. Here's exactly how we're fixing it. And then to add to it, they're insurance specialists. So they can walk you through that claims process with your insurance company if you need to fix up that roof. So call Todd Clark and the team today at 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell them Joey, that guy on the radio, sent you. Brian Dawson and Craig Monger are still in the studio. Craig, you're kind of quiet. I know Brian's. I'm quiet too. He's been rolling.
What am I supposed to talk about? He's going.
he's on a roll here. So usually it's us ranting back and forth at one another. So you have another one in you. I want to hear this.
I've got 2 more actually.
Okay.
And I'll tie them all together and put a pretty little bow on it. And so it's a thing, once you've been doing this for so long, I wasn't super duper focused on state politics, and then I kind of realized after the 2020 election the need to begin to focus more local and figure out what's going on, and there was no one else really focusing on what was actually going on at the local level, so the people of Alabama couldn't really focus on it either because there was no one actually reporting on what was really happening.
Right.
And so as I focus on these things, and as Craig reports on these things and our other reporters and everything, we talk and discuss, and you begin to notice patterns in how people go about things. And there's 2 patterns I want to talk to you guys about specifically. One is the trick plays that they do to get vice legislation passed. And then the other is elected officials always looking for why they can't do anything rather than using their supreme executive power of the state to do something, okay? To go back to last segment. So anyway, the magazine has come out and it's created quite a buzz. I wrote an article that opened, but in my article, I thought was kind of the most boring article, but it created a bunch of buzz specifically because I'm talking about some of these patterns. But the magazine itself is incredible. It's by far our best magazine, and it's about the courage that Albert Patterson displayed. He was the guy who ran for attorney general to put the corruption in Phoenix City in the 1950s.
And this is 1819 News, the magazine.
1819 News, the magazine.
Before you keep going, how can folks pick it up?
So you have to be a member to get it, Joey. You have to join. You can join and just go on the website. There's a red button that says become a member. You click that. There's been some issues with our back end. I feel like we're under a cyber attack or something. If it doesn't work, wait and then go there and do it. But sign up to become a member and you'll get our biannual magazine that comes out. But this one is just amazing. It's dedicated to highlighting people who showed tremendous courage or are living the lives that we think Alabamians need to live in order for our state to actually flourish. But my opening was I really criticized the fact that our state has no leadership right now. And what is leadership? And there's certain positions in the state where that leadership exists and it needs to be there. I think Will Ainsworth has leadership. I think Steve Marshall has leadership, but they're not in those executive functions at that level. And so what you have is the Speaker of the House, the Senate Pro Tem, and the governor. That's who I'm kind of offering this up to, okay? And I always say leadership is like if you have a ship, a Revolutionary War era ship that's in the ocean, okay, and it's in the waves or whatever, and if that ship doesn't have a destination, the wind and the waves are going to take that ship and crush it against the rocks. But you give that same ship a destination, and that same wind and waves will actually take it to its positive end, okay? And so it is with vision and leadership. And if an executive in our state or a leader in our state actually casted a positive vision that the people bought into, and they understood why decisions were being made because they said, that's where we're going, and we have to make these decisions to get there, they'd be willing to sacrifice, they would buy in, they would get behind things. But we don't have that. We have a complete lack of leadership, and it's basically just a free-for-all for special interests to get whatever they want, and the people in positions of leadership that I just named are basically serving special interests rather than providing vision and leadership for the people, okay? And so specifically, I went into ever since Mac McCutcheon and Nathaniel Ledbetter have become the Speaker of the House. So when that happened, and they're behind this guy who I personally believe, this is conjecture, this is my opinion. The political consultant that they use that basically functions as their chief of staff is a guy named Steve Raby. We did an article on it. Who is Steve Raby? And to the best of my knowledge, everything I can gather, I personally, Brian Dawson, believe he is still a Democrat. And the behaviors of Mac McCutcheon and Nathaniel Ledbetter makes me believe they have Democrat tendencies, and Ledbetter in 2014 switched over. Some people switch over and they do really conservative things. Steve Marshall switched over in 2012 and has been an amazing conservative ever since. Well, he switched over in 2014 and I've not seen that same kind of conservatism. And so since those two, Mac McCutcheon and Nathaniel Ledbetter, under the tutelage of Steve Raby, their political consultant, the three things that we've seen are a gas tax hike, marijuana, and several massive pushes for legalized gambling, in the last one to include Medicaid expansion. And you are in Ruby Red, Alabama, a Republican supermajority state with the most conservative people in the nation living here. And the best you can do, I feel like the Pawn Stars thing is like, best I can do is marijuana and gambling. Best I can do. Sorry. Right. And so that's what we're seeing. And then how they go about actually doing this is the play. Vice A is already happening, Joey.
Yeah.
Vice A is already happening. There's nothing we can do about it. So we just need to legalize it, regulate it, tax it. We're going to give that money to the kids, Joey.
Right.
And so marijuana, people already smoking that weed now, Joey. They're already smoking that ganja. So what we need to do, we need to legalize it, regulate it, tax it, give that money to the kids, Joey. Gambling. Man, they're already out there gambling. All kinds of legal gambling going on. We ain't going to be able to stop it. So we just need to legalize it. Legalize that gambling, man. They're out there doing it. We're going to regulate it, tax it. You know what we can do with that money, Joey? We can give it to the kids. We can give it to the kids. And so insert whatever. Prostitution. Man, them girls are already out there turning them tricks now, Joey. They're turning them tricks.
Yeah,
so
why give all the money to OnlyFans?
Exactly. Right. We got to get some to the kids. So what we're going to do is we're going to legalize it. We're going to regulate it, tax it, and give it to the kids. Abortion.
Yeah.
Women are already killing their babies now, Joey. So what we need to do, we need to legalize it and regulate it so they do it proper like. tax it and give that money to the children, Joey. And so this is the play to insert vice that no Alabamians would. And again, and it's also being done in conjunction with massive media buys that are getting you to think that you're basically going to get scratch tickets when you're actually getting a new power player that will be the gambling interest in the state that will put their boot on our neck way worse than the AEA did when they were in power. That's what we're going to get if we get gambling. Right. Okay. But what you're seeing on the TV is in Tennessee, little Becky, because the scratch tickets, got to go to college, and look at her. She's making good money now because she went to college because of the scratch tickets. That's what you see ad nauseum on your TV. Not we're going to come and put our boot on your necks and have a new power player that makes the BCA and Alabama Power look like nothing and make the AEA look like nothing when gambling interests come in and rule the state.
Well, and what belies and like really gives the game away is look at just the medical marijuana bill. What a mess, number one. A legal mess. Just it's insane how awful this has been. You go try to grow marijuana in this state and process it in this state without their regulations.
Yeah.
Like, why can't you just enforce it in the first place? Gambling especially.
Yeah.
Because a big push was like, well, we don't really have enforcement mechanisms against illegal gaming. So let's legalize a few insider
that's
players.
The back half of the rant, Joey.
Yeah.
That's the back half of the rant. It's in the magazine.
Okay.
And you're going to get a magazine.
1819 is the magazine.
The magazine.
I'm sorry for stealing your rant.
No, it's cool. It's okay. We're in the forgiveness business here, Joey. So the back half of the rant is this: that play has not worked for gambling. They've tried they're already gambling. We have to legalize it, regulate it, give the money to the children. They've tried that. It doesn't work. So now Speaker Ledbetter comes out and he says, Alabama, we have a serious illegal gambling problem. And everyone's like, oh my God, yeah, we do. This is great. You're speaking my language, Speaker. So what we're going to do to fix it is we're going to legalize it for the Big Five. And then we're going to create an enforcement. No, then we're going to make it a felony to do it illegally. So if you're not the Big Five, it's now going to be a felony.
Right.
And then we're going to create an enforcement agency that's unaccountable to anyone that's going to go and enforce that felony to take out the competition of the Big Five.
Right.
So you won't be competing with the Big Five, not my guys. I said my guys. What I meant was the Big Five.
Right.
Okay. And so imagine, let's pull that away from gambling and let's insert another vice, fentanyl. Okay. Everyone agrees fentanyl's bad. Fentanyl kills children. Fentanyl bad. Okay. We've got a serious fentanyl problem in the state of Alabama, Joey. You know what we're going to do? We're going to legalize the dealing of fentanyl for the biggest 5 drug dealers in the state of Alabama. We're going to make it a more severe felony to possess and deal fentanyl, and we're going to create an enforcement agency that's unaccountable to anyone to take out the competition of my favorite drug dealers. The big drug dealers. That's what we're doing with gambling on this one.
Well, and I think the opioid thing already happened.
Yeah.
They already did that. Yeah. Just look at how controlled our medical system is, and the fentanyl crisis is a product of the heroin crisis, which is a product of the opioid crisis.
Yes.
So the Big Five already, family? They got their money, and what they paid a cool $6 billion for people to go away.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
No, and you're right. I think that is the formula, and it does shock me. We're really on the same page in this regard. I see an up and coming generation where I think people could provide leadership. I would add Andrew Sorrell to that list. I think he's fantastic. I think Wes Allen's doing a great job as Secretary of State. But this won't happen with current leadership in the legislature.
Yes.
But what I would love to see, and maybe I'm stealing it from Elon, is the legislature for a short period of time essentially empowers a governor to be the true CEO of this state.
Yeah.
And allows them to restructure, change things, and get things done like they would do in a business. Don't make it forever. Make it a year.
Yeah.
You got a year to restructure stuff. We might have some approval on the back end. But empower a vigorous executive, a visionary executive. We need a wartime consigliere.
Yeah.
And it's very clear to me on ways that are corrupt. We need that sort of rooting out. But also just things that are legacy that we just don't need anymore. So many rules that cost everybody money, don't improve our society, except a few folks are on the take and they don't want the gravy train taken away.
Yeah. So what you're saying is you want a Christo-fascist dictator.
I wouldn't put it in those terms.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'll start calling you woke right. It is amazing too. Like I'm the same way as you know, and I still mostly focus on national politics because, well, right now we're not in legislative session. And these things. But it is amazing how much overlap there is in the same exact structural problems in D.C. or the same exact structural problems here in our state government.
It's a microcosm. microcosm. I still have one more rant. I don't know what my time limit is here.
We got a 30-second break here coming up.
Let's go after the 30-second break.
Okay.
And we'll do that.
So I got to hit another break, folks. First, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And there at Pest Pro, Ashley and the team are ready to help you out with any and all your pest control needs. Could be a one-time job, like, I know they're about to go away, but I'm having a party. I need the mosquitoes gone. I don't want to spray grandma with chemicals. Let's actually just treat the yard and get rid of those nasty suckers. Or it could be you got ants in the kitchen. But don't wait to an emergency. Call up Pest Pro today. Make them your everyday pest control company. Not only are they truly skilled professionals, get the job done well, they're your neighbors. They're great local folks. Ashley not only runs a great business herself, I know for a fact she helps other small businesses. I know how much she works in, say, the charity world and highlighting local athletics. These are the type of folks you'll be working with there at Pest Pro. So call them today at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that team that Joey, the guy on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Want to take the price of new flooring and tear it in half? You can during Prattville Carpet's biggest sale of the year, going on right now. Save 50% on select luxury vinyl plank and select carpets in stock. Stop into the store to register to win a brand new quartz countertop up to 75 feet until November 20th. No purchase necessary.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
Shop now and save big at PrattvilleCarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
The River Region's first and only News Talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228. Hey, did you see this thing Eddie got me?
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like it's just a big, if y'all want to check it out, go to the live stream. It's just a big Trump mess. Like, well, Joe, I'm telling you, Kamala, stupid, dumb as a post. Mel Gibson's right. Love Passion of the Christ, Joe. Like, I mean, like I love this so much. And you know what? I've never been really all affiliated. I know I'm working on Craig here, but I can feel the dark MAGA rising up in me.
I think that's just a lazy excuse for a Halloween costume. It's so great, but it's so lazy. You have to put some effort in, Joe.
Oh, no, we're doing...
Are we doing costumes next week?
Yes.
See, the problem is the only costume I have requires me to shave my head, and I really don't feel like doing that.
I'm not sure I want to know.
We're doing it on Thursday on Halloween.
Oh,
So-
okay. So I
You don't have to.
Okay,
Oh,
perfect,
good.
perfect.
Right. But it might have something to do with mullets and something old school.
You know, I've been
Mohawks,
thinking.
Greg would be in for that.
I've been thinking I need to get a new assortment of costumes that doesn't require me to razor shave my head, because that's a commitment. You know, it's a Bane costume. I have the full Bane costume.
Oh, can you do the voice?
Where you're
Yes,
going
I
out with
can.
the
It's,
shaved
it's
head.
pretty dope. It's but I want to get like maybe some John Cena. Just it should be easy. Stone Cold.
Stone
But
Cold.
see, I have
easy.
to shave my head. See, I think I could. I think I need to do Cena, because all you need is those little sweat straps on the wrist.
Yeah, I think that could. Yeah, well, maybe you can just come on in early next week and join us. In
We'll
the
see what we
costume
can do. Depends on when my Amazon order gets here with that the required tidbits for the costumes.
So, we were promised one more rant.
Yes.
Brian Dawson
ready.
here in the studio. Folks.
I'm ready. And so these are really the three rants that have just been, Peter Griffin. You know what really grinds my gears? Okay. These are the things that have really been grinding my gears lately. I've shared two of them with you guys. Now I'm on the third. I've got some hair on my tongue. I want to get off my feet. Thank you. Okay. So I'm ready. So it's the, and I've ranted a little bit at this on Alabama Unfiltered before, but it's bigger than what I had the opportunity to share there, is just this, I always wonder, what is it that motivates people to go and run for office, and specifically at the more hyper-local positions, okay? A city councilman, a mayor, a county commissioner, okay? But really any elected official, all their commercials are like, hey, you know, I'm Bill, I love Jesus, and I'm going to get in there and I'm going to do something.
Right.
You know, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to do something. I'm going to show you I'm going to do something. Okay, man, he's going to do something. It's going to be amazing. You know, and now if I ever make a political ad, I'm going to talk about my supreme executive authority that I'm going to use. But that's all you see, and then they get elected. But then every time there's an opportunity for them to use the authority that's been granted to them, whether they put their hand on a Bible and they were sworn in, and they were given authority, and with that authority comes responsibility to do something when things come up. They are always, all of them are looking for the thing that tells them they can't do anything. It's like, oh, there's books about how to clean the fecal matter off of your sex toys in the children's library for 5-year-olds. And it's use the dishwasher is actually the solution that the book posited. So anyway, and
it's worse
so
than mold.
Yeah, and that, okay, and so what do the city councilmen and county commissioners and mayors? Well, it says right there in subsection code 6B 46.59, I can't do anything, so I'm sorry about that. There's porn in the children's section. Yeah, there's nothing I can do. Nothing I can do. I'm sorry about that. Nothing I can do. It's actually the library board supposed to do something. You go to the library board and they're like, yeah, nope, it says code 6549 or 62. It's actually the city council. There's nothing I can do about that. Okay. Every single freaking person that gets elected, sorry, there's nothing I can do about that. What I want to see moving forward is political ads where it's like, hey, my name's Bill and I'm not going to do anything. You know, there's actually nothing that I'm able to do if I get elected. Right. And that's exactly what I'm going to do is nothing. Elect me. Okay? Because that's essentially what they're all doing the moment they actually have it. And it seems like the only reason these city councilmen and county commissioners get elected is so that they can facilitate real estate development deals that are going to benefit them or something. I don't know what their motivation is. It's certainly not for the betterment of the city. It's certainly not for the well-being of the children and the people in their communities. And I don't have one city or county in mind. This is like, I cover the state, and it's the same freaking thing from lower Alabama to North Alabama to Central Alabama. Everywhere I go, I see the same behavior patterns from these county commissioners, these city councilmen, and these mayors, and even some of our elected officials. I said I'm gonna go around the state house. I'm gonna have to keep true to this. I'm gonna go around the state house, and instead of what would Jesus do bracelets, WWJD, it's gonna be WWRDD. What would Ron DeSantis do? And I'm going to go hand out these bracelets because Ron DeSantis doesn't look for subsection code 654 to tell him what he can't do. Right. He does it, and then you figure it out in the courts. And the thing that I posited to an actual county commissioner in this state that I sat down with and freaking grilled him, what I told him is I said, why are we we just got to let the courts and da-da-da-da. I said, okay, then get the books. I obviously posited burning the books. AL.com highlighted that. Thank you, AL.com. Okay, if you're not me and you're not going to burn the books, go get the books out of there, go put them in a wheelbarrow in a warehouse, okay? And then let's figure out what to do with the books. But the default position of these conservative representatives that are elected is to leave the books on the shelves and then we'll figure it out. Why is not the default to, no, we're going to go get all this stuff out of here and then we're going to figure out what we're supposed to do in the courts?
Yeah.
Why is that not the default setting? All these people are freaking cowards. They have no political will. And what they don't understand, Joey, is that if they would actually just act, you would be celebrating them, I would be celebrating them, Craig would be, we would all celebrate their courage to do the right thing, and they would never have to worry about not getting elected again. You know who's never going to have to worry about getting elected again is Coach Tommy Tuberville. Took a massive stand on behalf of the people of Alabama and for life, and he went to war with the regime for 10 months. And he went through hell for 10 months, but that man, when he was at the Trump thing last summer, like a year ago, got like a 5-minute standing ovation when he came up to the microphone.
Yep.
That is what happens when you display courage and you do the thing that you're supposed to do. But instead, they want to find an excuse why they can't do something. They wanted a little piece of paper. Oh, it says right here I can't do anything. Sorry, but make sure election comes up that you vote for me.
You know, and I hold, today I had in my pocket here, it's like a stoic, I guess, worry coin. You can rub it or just keep it in your pocket. And it says on the back here, try not to exchange them for others. And it's the 4 cardinal virtues: temperance, justice, wisdom. And the last one you just said, courage. And I think we're lacking a lot of wisdom and temperance and justice in this state. but we sure as hell are lacking courage.
It's the great need of the hour.
It is. It's something I think just lacking in general in this nation because we're so bogged down in process.
Yeah.
That's what so much of this is. Or they're worried about the courts. This is a waste of money, and it's going to hurt my budget. And we're caught in the minutia of it. The whole idea of the process being the punishment, as opposed to why not? Heck, you saw the city council here and the mayor of Montgomery go, yeah, we're going to demand ID for a firearm possession if you're younger than 21. It's clearly illegal statewide, but at least they had, the balls to try to do something.
Correct.
And it's kind of like, I don't agree with that policy, but you impressed me with your courage in that moment, as stupid as it was.
Yes.
And you need more of that in politics.
Well, the left has never had a problem with that. They do all kinds of crazy things, then make us figure it out in court. And we're like, well, we're conservatives. We don't do that. We actually let the Haitians come in and overrun our town and don't do anything, and then we'll figure it out later, rather than getting them out and then figuring it out later, right? Like, it's just, it's mind-boggling. It's bizarre. I hope that whoever becomes our next governor uses this, that at least thank you, Kay Ivey, for showing us that there is such a thing as supreme executive power, that actually gets utilized in a way that is beneficial. Will Ainsworth was down in Fairhope giving a speech, I don't know, it was a month ago when this Haitian stuff was really like peak. And he's like, if I was governor, I'd round them all up and get them out of here. Right?
There you go.
And again, whether he would or not, I don't know, but at least he's saying, at least he's pointing and aiming in this type of direction of what we're looking for in an executive leader in the state. I have no doubt that Steve Marshall would probably do that as well.
And when I look at them, I got to hit a top of the hour break here, but when I look at the up and coming generation, I really do like them all. And when I think about 2026, I'm very much undecided. I will say the one thing in Will Ainsworth's corner that is very important is it seems very clear to me he has no aspirations for federal office at all. And so if you have a guy who's just like the height of my political career will be governor of this state, I think that is something that could be very powerful and useful in terms of mustering up, let's say, a little bit of courage.
Yeah.
Well, I got to hit the stop hour break. We'll be right back.
From the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Jason Walker. Well, former President Donald Trump putting a lot of pressure on Vice President Kamala Harris. He says China's leader will handle Harris, quote, like a baby if she is elected. In the meantime, both Trump and Harris campaigning today in Texas. Spirit Airlines cutting jobs, selling off jets worth millions of dollars. As the budget carrier aims to cut costs amid looming financial struggles, Spirit says it has identified about $80 million of cost-cutting measures set to begin early next year. AAA says gasoline is down 5 cents. The average price right now nationwide is $3.14. And economic woes in Moscow, Russia's central bank raising the key interest rate by 2 percentage points to 21%. This is SRN News.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust. Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value, free.
Endurance has paid hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-298-9534. That's 800-298-9534. 800-298-9534.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Well, hi, everybody. I would not be surprised if we get to another record high of 88 today. Yeah, we tied one yesterday, and I think we're going to tie one today. Sunshine today, clear, mild tonight, overnight low temperature down to about 59. Now, tomorrow, I've got us around 88 for a high. The record is 90 on Saturday. More sun. There is a weak front that'll move through the state Saturday night into Sunday. Could there be a stray shower somewhere along that front? I suppose, but the chances are very minute. Behind the front, Sunday's high 84, Monday 78. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. 5 people were shot at a Montgomery apartment complex Wednesday night. 3 adult males and 2 juveniles were treated for gunshot wounds at Baptist South Hospital. The shooting happened at Liberty Square Apartments behind the Walmart on Eastern Boulevard. Suspect and motive remain unknown as the investigation continues. Montgomery's Jackson Hospital and Clinic has announced some financial restructuring details after failing to make a $60 million bond payment last month. Alan Willen has been named Chief Restructuring Officer. Willen stated the hospital will remain open and there has been no change in employment levels. A 14-year-old from Montgomery has been charged with making a terroristic threat. The teenager was arrested Wednesday following a lockdown at Opelika High School after someone called threatening to shoot up the school. Investigators traced the call back to the Montgomery teenager's cell phone. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Yes?
Howdy, ma'am. I'm Bill, the electrician.
Oh, hello, Bill. Say, I like your houndstooth hat. Bama fan?
Well, sorta.
Oh, you're also wearing a War Eagle sweatshirt and a Troy jacket.
Yeah, well, I grabbed a hot wire last week. Kinda scrambled my brain.
Electricity is nothing to trifle with. That's why you only want electricians who are safety conscious and code compliant, like the experts at Crosby Electric.
Okay, ma'am, you take this 2x4, and if you notice I ain't saying much, give me a good knock on the head.
What?
All Crosby Electric team members are trained to make safety our #1 priority, to avoid dangerous situations.
All ready to go, ma'am. Just have to connect this wire and... Oh.
Bill, are you okay?
Oh, yeah. Good as new.
Yeah, sure. Who's your favorite team?
Pistachio?
Don't take chances with electricity. Call the experts at Crosby Electric or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Brian Dawson, founder and El Jefe there at 1819 News, still in the studio. And it really is good seeing you, man.
Not to be confused with El Jefe.
No,
which is Jeff.
That's Jeff Poor.
F.A., yes.
Mr. Poor. I like Jeff. We've gotten, you do, because he does hit on my show, I do a hit on his show. We do it every Wednesday. And it's just, you do it enough, you get to know each other, and it's like, oh, you're tired today, baby. Keep you up. These sorts of things.
Yeah.
But, man, it's a good team. Good team.
He's amazing, dude. And
together.
so, as we put together the team at 1819 News, I mean, it's one of those, like, every single person that works at 1819, if we didn't have that person, like, we wouldn't be able to function, which is a really interesting way to structure a company. But in order to do this, and every single person gives so much, and they work crazy long hours, they give everything they have, and it's because they believe in the vision, as we kind of talked about earlier. But Jeff really is the one that makes it happen, right? And so he's the guy that runs the newsroom, and I let him. It's like, I trust his judgment. He does a phenomenal job. He's got great news choice as far as what to publish. He's just amazing, and he knows what's going on in Alabama more than anybody.
Now, shifting national, and speaking of editorial choices, did you see that, of all places, the Washington Post is not going to endorse anyone for president, which is essentially an endorsement of Trump?
Sure. Same as Los Angeles Times.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, of course, the New York Times is doing their thing, and they're unaccountable in so many ways. But it does seem like, I feel hesitant because I'm an Auburn fan and a Buccaneers fan. Don't get too hopeful. They'll disappoint you. But it does seem like Trump's going to win, and win big. And not just, to me, it's at this point not, oh, I love Trump so much. It's this team he's put around himself. It's Elon. It's J.D. Vance. It's Vivek Ramaswamy.
RFK.
It's RFK
Tulsi
Jr.,
Gabbard.
Tulsi Gabbard. And I'd imagine there are a few others. We don't necessarily know their names. But when you start to see this all coalesce together, you're like, okay, this could be quite a show. And I heard Eric Trump earlier this morning on Patrick Bet-David's podcast talking about, he's going to get his popcorn out once his dad gets reelected. Once he's inaugurated for the second time, he's going to sit back because he's like, Dad knows exactly where the bodies are buried. He knows exactly what he wants to do. It'll be a big fight, but he learned how the games were played in Washington in the first term. I think that's what is scaring, say, certain interest at this moment, the machine backing Kamala. It's not that Trump's a fascist, or we got a clip of Hillary Clinton saying he's recreating the Father Coughlin rally from the 30s in Madison Square Garden, which is just like, oh, shut up, Bish. I said Bish, not the other one. It's just, go away. You're not making anybody better off by you talking. So I think that desperation shows they know exactly what's coming for them, and it's not Hitler-esque. It's not it's not Mussolini. It's not like, firing squads in the streets. It's, no, here's a bunch of pink slips, and here's me putting you on blast about how corrupt your ass is to millions and millions of people. And I think Trump knows exactly what he wants to do.
Yeah. Doge. Department of Government Efficiency, ran by Elon Musk.
Of that group I just named, I think J.D. Vance he's a rock star. Like, he's great.
He's the conservative Barack Obama. And what I mean by that is just crazy level political charisma and ability to speak. And again, it's all off the cuff. Like, there's nothing rehearsed. Everything is just his ability to communicate. He has all of the benefits that Trump brings with none of the drawbacks, and just crazy. He can be presidential, right? That's the attack that everybody wages against Trump. He's not presidential. Well, J.D. Vance is extremely presidential, and he's and I believe he was the insurance policy. Like, if you remember, Trump got shot in the head. Like, that happened. Okay, in this cycle, I anticipate something else happening between now and November. But the insurance policy was right after he got shot in the head. They were saying there was going to be someone else that was picked, whoever it was. And it's like, no, we're going to have to put someone to the right of me here.
Yeah.
Because if they kill me, they're going to get this guy.
Well, and he has this way about him where I thought, excuse me, pardon me, folks, when Trump first announced it's J.D. Vance, he's smart. I'm sure I've seen him on the think tank circuit ever since he wrote that book, The Billy Elegy. He is smart. He is very highly intelligent, like verbally, these sorts of things. But then Trump goes, and he's one. Oh, excuse me. Let me get the big head here. And he's one good-looking son of a bitch, that guy, J.D. Vance. I'm like, what is that he's talking about? That debate? I kind of saw it. I'm like, especially because he did this softer side, this more very persuasive side, and yet he also has the ability to go hang out with Theo Vaughn or Tim Dillon, of all people, and these podcasts, and yes, drop F-bombs and use language everyday people definitely use. And it's sort of, you are seeing the future of American politics.
Yeah.
There will be Democrats who get wise to this. They'll start playing the same game. But right now, Trump and the team he's put together is ahead.
Think about Chappelle's show, the race draft. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And it was like, we'll give you O.J. Simpson, and we want you. Remember that? And so we were basically like, okay, we're going to give you Dick and Liz Cheney, and in return, we get Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, Tulsi Gabbard, and RFK.
Well, and by the way, because of the Liz Cheney part of that, bringing in the Cheneys, a lot of progressives are like, even Jon Stewart's giving Tim Walz out. Like, the Cheneys really think it's backfiring big time.
Yeah.
And then of all people, comedian, libertarian par excellence, Dave Smith comes out and says, I'm voting for Trump. And his whole rationale is like, I'm still going to criticize Trump. Trump's wrong about a lot of stuff. But the Cheneys, you're bringing in the Cheneys? I'm voting Trump just because I hate these people. And it's like, this is fascinating.
It's not even just the Cheneys. It's they're bringing in they brought in what's her face. God, I can't remember. Her dad died a while back. War criminal. What's his name? Got captured.
Oh,
McCain.
McCain.
Yeah. So
so
they keep bringing in these people that literally 8 years ago, their side was calling everything like the Cheneys were war criminals. I mean, it's like people forgot about the Iraq War.
Bush was Hitler.
Bush was literally Hitler, and all of a sudden now the right has come around. It was like, yeah, we don't like these warmongers. We don't like people sending billions and trillions of dollars to fight foreign wars. Now that the right has decided that we hate these people, they're like, oh, we have Republicans now. Right. The shifting is just absolutely insane. And what it is. The right has now become the party of the bros.
Yeah.
And they're winning.
Yeah, big
because
time.
Bros have a very unique ability that the left doesn't have. And it comes in two forms. They can have fun and they can laugh. The left does not have the ability to laugh, and when you make people laugh, like the Tim Dillons, like the Andrew Schultzes, like the Joe Rogans, when you can make someone laugh, it makes their circumstances seem a little less glum.
I was talking to Jeff Poor about this on his show. The first time I ever talked with Jeff, he was working at a different publication at the time, but he texted me. So I'd just taken over what this show was, and it was earlier in the day, yada, yada, yada. And he was asking every talk show host in the state, tell us about Rush Limbaugh, because Rush had just passed. And thinking about it, because Rush is before my time. I always had respect for him. I remember my dad watching him, listening to him in the car, but I was more of a Glenn Beck guy. That's when it really hit for me. And still a Blaze subscriber, whenever they can have my money. I know, because I've been that way since he created it. I'm loyal to a fault sometimes. Anyway, I remember this line came to me when I thought about Limbaugh, that it's a H.L. Mencken line. One horse laugh is worth 10,000 syllogisms. And if you can laugh at folks, you can give all the arguments, all this stuff. If somebody makes you laugh, that's what I think Limbaugh did. In a way, Trump is the culmination of that generation and that style of politics really rising up. I used to call him the walking, talking Drudge Report, but, that's changed for whatever reason. Drudge is just miserable these days. But it is that sort of humor. Like, I almost want to write a big essay on it, The Revolution That Laughed, because it is that mockery. You're absolutely right, Craig, the bro element of it. And I also think the fatherhood element to it. Here's what I mean. I am clearly not a father. I'm not a parent. You two are. But it's guys our age in that demographic who are new fathers, like this guy, J.D. Vance. And I've found that Vance, in this one moment last night in the town hall, he was saying something I've been saying for a while, because it is the season for everybody who votes differently from me is stupid, ignorant, and evil. And it's like, I'm more than happy to call people who are playing the elite game, who are like actually pulling the strings and manipulating and spending all this money. Yeah, there's some evil folks up there. Your average person might be confused. Like, let's not, if evil was just on the so-called other side, it would have been wiped clean from the face of the earth long ago. It's just not how it works, in my humble opinion. You always got to watch out for it. And J.D. Vance said a particular thing last night that I went, you don't hear that often from politicians, especially not in this climate. And it made me think, this guy's a father of young children, and he's thinking about an example he's setting. I could throw out Dave Smith, father of young children, he's very much changed. You're seeing it in the libertarian world. There is a change when you start thinking about, okay, what sort of example do I want to set? Here's the clip.
To me, the biggest threat to democracy is the rising tide of censorship. The idea that we should be trying to silence our fellow Americans rather than persuade them and talk to them. That's always going to lead to people being pissed off because they don't like to be told what to think or what to say. They like to talk to one another. And that's one thing that I'll always commit to. As you know, you're vice president for the next 4 years, I'll always try to talk to people. We'll go out there and we'll do events with people who disagree with us. We'll answer questions from people who don't always see eye to eye. But I think if we set the tone at the top, the leadership of this country is all about communicating with one another. I think that's how we start to heal the divide, but we all have a role in it. And one final point I'll say about this, and, you know, don't get too personal all the time, but, you know, one of the things I've seen, especially from, you know, some of my wife's friends and some of my friends, is that they disagree with us on politics sometimes. They'll get very personal about it. And if you're discarding a lifelong friendship because somebody votes for the other team, then you've made a terrible, terrible mistake and you should do something different. Like, don't cast aside. Like, most of my family obviously is going to vote for, you know, Donald Trump and JD Vance. And if they're not, actually, I need to talk to them. But I've got friends who like me personally, acquaintances who aren't necessarily going to vote for me. That doesn't make them bad people. And we can't, this is my most important advice, whether you vote for me, whether you vote for Donald Trump, whether you vote for Kamala Harris, don't cast aside family members and lifelong friendships. Politics is not worth it. And I think if we follow that principle, we'll heal the divide in this country. Thank you, Matt.
I just haven't heard that from a politician in a long, long time. And it suggests there is a world that is deeper and much more important than this circus that's been going on for a long time. And if you get the fundamental things, right, if you put first things first, then I think the political stuff will work out downstream.
Yeah, we've talked about that on the show 1,000,001 times. Like, you know, I'll come in here and I'll get angry, rant, say ridiculous things about the political scene mainly because I get paid to write about politics. But we've always said it. You know, when I go home and I'm reading a book to my daughter and my son, and my wife is sitting there looking gorgeous, I really couldn't give a flying Frenchman's fornication about what Kamala Harris has to say. That's my future right there.
Yeah.
You know, if they wreck the economy and we have to start eating our neighbors, we'll deal with that when it comes to it. That's where my world is, in those four walls in my home with these people that I've committed my life to and I love more than anything.
Yep.
And going back to a previous point that J.D. Vance had made, which is just so poignant, talking about the childless cat ladies.
Yeah.
But of both genders, by the way, that exist. Those are the people that you will see that are most virulently political in their rhetoric and just angry, and because they have no higher purpose. They have there's nothing deeper than their political affiliations.
It reminds me, Ernie Yarbrough, State Rep Ernie Yarbrough, has been saying, I don't know if it was Chesterton or if it was C.S. Lewis that he was quoting. He said, what is the purpose of all of this, you know, technology and all of these things that we do in engineering and all the other things? And he goes through all these amazing things that humans have done. So the purpose of all of it is so that a man can sit by the fireplace with his child in his lap with his wife. Mm-hmm. And what that reminds me of is the way that Lord of the Rings ends.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Who told you, who, by the way, Brian, who bugged you for years to read Lord of the Rings?
Doug Wilson.
I hate you. I don't get credit for anything I do.
Well, and the book's so beautiful, too, in the sense that you have that ending scene with Sam, but then you also have Frodo going, you know, I've been too touched by certain things, but I'm just going to go off into a different...
But isn't that full sphere?
It's so good.
Isn't that full sphere? It's like, hey, listen, I've been beaten and run ragged by this world, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And he passes it along, and Sam's like, well, I'm home.
But and think about that, wars upon wars of all of the things, the fighting for, you know, 3 books of all these wars and fightings and everything else, and it all ends with him with his kid on his lap and his wife bringing him food to the dinner table by the fire.
Yeah.
Now, I want to read it. And honestly, I haven't thought this through, but there's a thread that caught my eye. I just want to read it now. It seems appropriate. It's a guy named Sean Baroob, if that's how it's said.
Baroob.
He writes, C.S. Lewis was an atheist for 30 years. Finally, one conversation with J.R.R. Tolkien changed his mind. So what did Tolkien say? Here's what they discussed. and how it led to the conversion of the 20th century's greatest theologian.
Debatable, but go ahead.
Lewis was a member of the lost generation. He served in and was traumatized by World War I. The horrors of war, along with modernist philosophy, made him an atheist. It was no simple-minded atheism either. Lewis was a genius. Lewis graduated top of his class in Oxford. He was studied in philosophy, literature, language, science, and religion. He didn't just believe in atheism, he could outsmart any man of his day. However, Lewis was plagued by one thing that defied all rationality. The one thing Lewis couldn't explain: heartache. He was unhappy. This wasn't just your regular sadness either. It was desire, a profound longing for something he couldn't have, but he didn't know what exactly. His entire life, Lewis was plagued by the stabbings of joy and a following sadness. He asked, "What is this longing inside of me? Am I doomed to unhappiness?" The questions plagued him for years. For all of his studies, nothing could explain his misery. He confided this confusion to his good friend J.R.R. Tolkien. Tolkien, a practicing Catholic, had a simple answer for him: "Your heart is longing for God." Lewis resisted this idea, but was open-minded. His heart couldn't stop wailing. One day, Lewis, Tolkien, and mutual friend Hugo Dyson took a stroll around Oxford. It was meant to be a casual talk, but turned into intense discussion that lasted all night. What were they discussing? Christianity, and oddly enough, mythology. Why mythology? Because Lewis loved it. He said the truths of myth helped his heartache. He even appreciated Christianity as a myth. Quote, "If I read a pagan myth of God sacrificing himself to himself, I liked it very much and was mysteriously moved by it." Tolkien and Dyson jumped on this point. They stressed Christianity was indeed a myth, but a true myth. It actually happened. His revelation began haunting Lewis. A month later, Lewis wrote, quote, "What Dyson and Tolkien showed me was the story of Christ is simply a true myth, a myth working on us in the same way as the others, but it really happened." Within a few weeks, he came to a jarring realization. All his studies, Lewis realized, pointed to one truth. Quote, "The books in which we thought beauty was located will betray us if we trust them. It was not in them, it only came through them." Myths couldn't heal his heart because they weren't true, but they were pointing to truth. Lewis' heartache was cured. The true myth of Christianity brought him peace, and his old worldview collapsed. Quote, "If I find in myself desires which nothing in this world can satisfy, the only logical explanation is that I was made for another world." Why was this a miracle? Well, Lewis didn't just convert. He found the answer to joy. The true myth was the answer to his aching heart and curious mind. In other words, this isn't just a story about Lewis's conversion. It's a story that teaches you what true faith actually looks like. Faith without reason is blind. Faith without love is cold and cruel. Faith, however, grounded in a love for truth, is the key to flourishing. Joy, in other words, is having faith that the truth will set you free. Now, there's another thing that happened recently in the podcast space. See Jordan Peterson sit down with Richard Dawkins?
Yeah.
And it was that Alex O'Connor guy kind of moderating it. And
I love how he's moved away from the cosmic skeptic.
I really do like his show too. It's a very good show.
He is the most genuine atheist that's been around for a very long time.
Yeah, and like when he had William Lane Craig on it, just like it's not about scoring points and really dogging one another out. But Peterson was asked point blank a few times about certain aspects of Christianity, like the virgin birth. Then they asked him about, do you believe in the resurrection of Christ? And there are a lot of folks I saw, like Mike Cernovich, dogging Peterson out for going, oh, well, I'm going to talk about myths and the bronze serpent and all this stuff. But I'm telling you, when I watched that for the first time, this is what I wrote to Cernovich. Not many people saw it. Said, seems to me Peterson would rather give a reason for believing in the resurrection and wrestle with the question rather than provide a simple yes or no that persuades no one who doubts. The reason he gave seems a very compelling one to me, given that he described in a provoking and original way to one of the world's most renowned atheists for millions to watch, the symbolism of John 3:14 through 16. Quote, just as Moses lifted up the snake in the wilderness, so the Son of Man must be lifted up, that everyone who believes in him may have eternal life. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that everyone who believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. Find that a heck of a lot better. I encourage folks to go watch, in particular, that moment. It's a lot better than him going, yes. The way he put it all together and described the story of the bronze serpent in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
And then said, in I think a very honest way, I struggle with this. I don't know. Very Canadian. But you could see the lights coming on.
Yeah.
That they're like, well, do you think it's literally true? He's like, if we all looked at the crucifixion and the resurrection in the same way, everybody exposes themselves to their fears, exposes themselves to the things that are worrying them. If you're truly exposed to the most horrible death in the worst terms and that was defeated, who knows what is possible? I bring all this up to say, what a time we're living in, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot we can do in Alabama. There's a lot you can do in your household. And not many of us are going to be on the level, say, of Jordan Peterson in terms of the exposure and eyeballs.
Sure.
But when you're seeing that sort of guy doing stuff like that for millions now to watch, it's a heck of a lot better than, did you see what Sean Hannity said last night?
You mean your adopted father?
Yeah.
Godfather.
And that, that was amazing. Everything you just said, phenomenal. And then look at Russell Brand, look at Candace Owens, look at all of the Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
All of these guys, it's been profound.
And Vance himself, he recently did convert to Catholicism. Like, it's
nobody's perfect.
He believes the Pope is the Antichrist.
Every single time you bring up Catholics, you know it's going to happen.
I know, it's fine. It's fine. It's great,
I'm friendlier
actually.
to Catholics than Craig is.
It's great. Hey, we got to hit a break here. I see Eddie Bader's here. How you doing, Eddie?
Doing good, buddy. How you doing?
I'm all right.
I'm a fan of your novels, The Tardy Boys.
That was
I had a field
bad.
trip.
You did? Did you?
If
you're
with the
tardy
grandkids.
again, would that make you retardy?
Twice tardy, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. Did you go to the pumpkin patch with the kiddos?
We went to, I feel stupid now. I can't think of the name of the farm, but it was a little farm action for all the homeschoolers. It's great.
Is that the one in Clanton?
No, actually, it's right on Deatsville Highway. It's really small. It's
Is it by the strawberry patch?
No.
Okay, all right.
We're thinking of
We're never going to find it at this rate.
Yeah,
all the questions. No.
To the left of my road, you'll see it. Right
no.
there. Yeah.
Down Chunder.
Yeah.
Down Chunder.
Well, got to hit a break here. First, this part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, they're ready to help you fellas out, especially if you're experiencing this confluence of symptoms. Like, say, you're lacking motivation, energy, and drive, including a decrease in your sex drive. You just always feel tired, losing muscle mass, seeing weight gain, and it's not like you change your eating habits, your workout activity levels, and you just feel like you're walking through your life in a fog. Knowing whether or not you have low testosterone is huge in combating some of these issues, and the providers there at Montgomery Men's Health will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And Montgomery Men's Health has low T treatments, if that is indeed your problem, that can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym.
Brother.
That's right, brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, usually even notice an increased libido. It's just a fancy Latin term for one to have sex. You can actually book the same day that you call. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com. To book your appointment today, be sure to tell them, hey, that Joey guy on the radio sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 special. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting. 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
The new 2025 models are arriving at Larry Puckett Chevrolet. But to make sure you get the one you want, call 334-285-9300. They're selling before they get to the dealership, so be sure you get yours locked in today. Larry Puckett also has the biggest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in the river region. There's still a lot of football left. If you don't trust your old clunker to get you to Auburn, Tuscaloosa, Troy, and the away games, a vehicle from Larry Puckett's pre-owned inventory will get you where you want to go. Larry Puckett always lets their customers do the talking, and you will certainly want everyone to know about the great prices, selection, and service once you buy from Larry Puckett Chevrolet. Stop by and see them on Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville, or shop them online at LarryPuckett.com. The new 2025 models are arriving at Larry Puckett Chevrolet. Pick yours out today. Shop them online at LarryPuckett.com. Larry Puckett Chevrolet, Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson with the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. Here are the 5 steps you'll have to take to buy a home in this market. First, it's so important to get pre-qualified through a local lender because to get an offer accepted, you will have to have a written pre-approval letter submitted with your offer. Second, it's critical that you have identified the 3 most important must-haves with a house, including the location where you want to live. Third, always hire a professional buyer's agent that will represent your best interest and to be looking out for your interests, not the seller's interest through the transaction, working on your behalf all the way to the closing. Fourth, hire the best home inspector you can find. Let him identify the issues with the home. Let your agent negotiate on your behalf for needed repairs. Fifth, close with a top-notch closing attorney's office that will examine the title, provide you with title insurance, and give you good title in the future. For a complete list of buyer agent services, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group, 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Clark Heating, Air, and Plumbing. Fall is officially here, and it's time to get your system ready for the winter. Call today about the advantages of the Clark Club membership to be sure you're covered. Call 277-2125 or go to clarkcomfort.com. Better call Clark. Alabama certification number 09098.
Rich Thomas Weather. We have been in record high territory for a couple of days now, and I think that continues tomorrow. And even the nights are milder and comfortable. We'll be in the upper 50s tonight with mostly clear skies. Saturday's high in the upper 80s, and the record is 90, so we'll be close. We'll be in the middle 80s on Sunday with sunshine dominating the weekend forecast. In fact, I don't even see any rain next week through Halloween and beyond. As the drought continues to expand, we are now in a level 2 moderate drought. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. Get 0% financing up to 48 months with approved credit. Now on select Kubota track loaders and excavators. Get a Kubota now through December 31st, 2024. See Capital Tractor Montgomery and Brundage or KubotaUSA.com for details.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. We will take calls now. I mean, I don't apologize for not taking your calls all show so far, but 272-9228 if you want to get in.
I thought we were going to be talking about ecumenical councils.
That's what Patrick, Patrick, our great libertarian friend, he really prodded me. So why should libertarians vote for Trump, Joey? And it produced an epic rant. So maybe it could do the same to Craig. Hey, Craig, could you break down the 7 ecumenical councils and why you believe or don't believe in them? Craig always knows stuff.
Oh, well, I don't know. I can't break down all 7. I can tell you my favorite ecumenical council, which is the Council of Constantinople, which is when they denounced Pope Honorius and commanded that his books be burned.
Why'd they denounce him?
Because he taught that Christ had one will, as opposed to 2. Which is there's a special fancy word for it, but that was it wasn't taught ex cathedra as the defenders of Rome like to say, but it used to be actually hilariously enough when the Catholic priests would take their vows. In the vow, they would have to denounce the teaching of Honorius, who was a pope. So that whole thing about papal infallibility gets a little shaky there.
Yeah, it's just a bit.
That's why it's my favorite. I believe it was Constantinople actually. Now I'm questioning my memory, but I'm pretty sure it was Constantinople.
So there you go, Patrick.
But Honorius was denounced at an ecumenical council, just to let you know.
Eddie, what do you think?
I'm good.
You're good?
I'm good.
You're all right?
I'm good.
Yeah. Did you see J.D. Vance last night?
Yeah, I did. I watched him a little bit on Tucker, too. I finally caught just about most of that. He's a good-looking dude. I'm saying he's a good-looking dude. Them blue eyes, they're just piercing.
Speaking of Tucker, did you guys hear him say how Tim Walz looks super gay? I was thinking it, but God,
I heard people complaining about after the debate J.D. Vance's beard and like, oh, look at this beard and beards in politics.
Misogyny.
And I'm like, wait. The biggest beard in politics is Doug's, and her name is Kamala. Yeah. Like, give me a break here. Though, by the way, I know y'all both appreciate this. Go look up Michael Malice lately, the tear he's been on.
Dude, did you see him tweet at Doug Emhoff?
Yes. I think he said something to the effect of, Doug, you need to go smack your wife. She's losing this election.
Ooh.
It's like, oh my God.
And he used the B word.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he will randomly every couple of months inject George Floyd into a tweet.
Dude, the one
that gives
about
me anxiety.
Oh my God. I've never laughed that hard in my life.
I was crying physical
What did he
tears.
say? George Floyd has a thing for pregnant women, or what was it?
When Roe versus Wade was overturned, he goes, I wish George Floyd were around to hear this. We know how much he cared about pregnant women.
That's what it was.
God.
Again, I didn't say it, people. I'm quoting. I'm saying it. Say don't say it. It was hilarious. But
Yeah, well, let's remind everyone. Didn't George Floyd put a gun to a pregnant woman's belly?
Yeah, he robbed her and stuck a gun to her belly.
Yep.
And now he has a statue. Isn't that funny?
Well, no, he did, and then God struck it down with lightning.
No, they put it up again. There's a new statue. It's amazing the heroes the left decides to have.
And it is amazing, by the way, with this campaign, how it has gone from Oprah going, joy, joy at the DNC, to now they're calling him, a fascist and Hitler and all this stuff. And then you listen to the campaign Trump and Vance are doing. Here's an example. This was, again, at that same town hall with Chris Cuomo, of all people. Yes, some people can be improved somewhat. And J.D. Vance is doing the whole town hall. Have you ever seen a running mate call into another running mate's town hall?
No.
Donald Trump did that.
You're going to want to sit down for this one.
Oh, no.
Not unlike Beetlejuice. If you invoke the former president's names too many times in a row, he's going to want to weigh in on what is being said about him. And we have a call right now from former President Donald John Trump. He wants to weigh in. Mr. President, I know there's a little bit of a delay. Can you hear us? And what is your question for the senator?
Well, I can hear you, Chris, and I do have a question, and I think it'll be quite an interesting one. The answer should be easy. How brilliant is Donald J. Trump?
Take your time. Think about it.
Well, first of all, sir, this is supposed to be undecided voters. I would hope that I have your vote, of all people. But Here's first of all, sir, of course, you're very brilliant, and we both agree. We both agree that it's important to have very smart people running our government. But here's the thing about President Trump that aside of you, sir, if you'll forgive me for telling this story that I think often people don't see. And of course, I got my beautiful wife here in the front row. And one of my favorite moments with President Trump is we were hosting an event for him near our home in Cincinnati a few months ago. And of course, my wife was a little bit nervous to really, talk to the president of the United States. And he asked her, what do you think about your husband being in public service? And she gives, if you know my wife, a very diplomatic answer. Sir, he really cares about the people of Ohio. He's thrilled to be able to serve them, and I'm happy to support him however I can. And President Trump chuckles and goes, yeah, my wife hates it too. and the thing that it did is it just immediately broke the barrier. And it wasn't the former president. It was just a person talking to my wife. And I think you guys were able to have a nice conversation. But that ability to relate to anybody in any environment, I think that's the true brilliance of Donald J. Trump.
And we're going to see that tested, I think, with Joe Rogan. I can't wait to watch that.
I'm nervous.
Yeah, me too. I think it could go bad.
Thought about that a lot last night. Yeah.
And it's just
very well.
Joe Rogan has a weird Trump derangement syndrome that's just like but majority of clips I see, JRE clips, is him saying like, wow, look how Trump trashed so and so, or man, he's so funny, or man, he does such a good job, and then all of a sudden he'll just be like, and it's like, how is this interview gonna go?
That's what I worry about. I worry that his biggest thing about not interviewing him is he did not want to make anyone think that he's supporting Trump.
Yeah.
So how far is he willing to go over that line to make sure no one thinks he's really supporting Trump? It could.
Though I think some of this has been, the reason it's happening is, I think Elon's a big part of it. I think Elon and Rogan have a very good relationship. Yeah. And I think Elon backing Trump the way he is sort of gives Rogan permission to be nice, at least. Yeah. But it's more like the stuff that you don't expect. That's what I'm wondering. Is it going to be, for instance, when Trump went on that Flagrant podcast, it was like every other episode of that show. I love that when the show doesn't change, even if you got a president of the United States. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I'm hoping Trump and his team are wise enough to realize, no, we're not going to do some special thing. He's just going to Michael Malice of all people said, when you go on Rogan, it's a hangout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just hang out.
And that's where Trump shines.
Right.
But see, this is why I'm not worried, is because Joe's not going to get up and have what are you going to do about the border policy and most of those? He's not going to. He's going to, and they're just going to start talking. And that is where Trump shines, is whenever he has a conversation, because again, he's a bro. Mm-hmm. I think they're gonna have a silly goose time with a lot of laughs, and I think it's gonna be great. I don't think he's gonna come in there and he may try to push him on one or two things, but honestly, I think Trump has the alpha energy to deal with that.
Yeah.
The one area where Trump does not do well is when he's being interviewed by a actually talented female journalist. That is the one place where he just falls apart, which is Megyn Kelly.
Yeah.
Megyn Kelly every time. Every time. And I went back because I'm like huge Megyn Kelly fan now, because she's completely dropped her center left weird place that she was, and she's turned into a far right extremist. Which just means that she's like knows what the truth is. Against the trans stuff, when she went on with Tucker at that live event in Kansas City, and she's like, screw you, Taylor Swift, and she went on that diatribe. I mean, she's just and she's the most talented. Tucker's like the most likable and extremely talented, and Tucker will say that Megyn Kelly's the most talented media professional journalist in the industry. And every time she interviews Trump, it goes poorly for Trump. I don't know why Trump keeps doing it. But that's the only place I see him fall apart. Everywhere else he shines.
His Lex Friedman wasn't great either, and it just the two you can tell.
Well, that's because Lex is dry as cracker cheese.
He's a robot.
Yeah,
he's a robot.
What are the chances? I know that they're small, but I live to dream. What are the chances that Joe Rogan gets Donald Trump to smoke pot live?
After the election,
maybe.
I'm coming out in favor of Amendment 3. I live in Florida.
Trump's buds coming soon.
Exactly what will happen.
It comes gold.
You know that's what's going to happen.
That's not happening.
Only the best. No swag allowed in the United States of America.
Remember though when Trump hosted Limbaugh's show and he's dropped F-bombs and stuff? I hope he relaxes. And don't curse too much, obviously, but I hope he sort of just shows that side of him that is well known behind the scenes.
Well, Trump on Stern and Opie and Anthony back in the day yesterday was even more untethered than that.
Yeah.
He had zero political aspirations back then.
Didn't
he
care.
didn't give a hoot.
Oh, look, breaking news from Glenn Greenwald. Greenwald? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Glenn Greenwald?
Also a great
He's
He's still stuck in Argentina.
He says Adolf Hitler continues to attract record high numbers of non-white voters, including black people and Latinos, for a Republican candidate in the modern era.
What? It really loses, but then they wonder why there's actually a resurgence in people having sort of an affection for Adolf Hitler and the Third Reich. They're like, because you keep calling their heroes Hitler, and then they're like, you know what, maybe we should revisit this whole Hitler guy. It's like, you did this to yourselves.
I think that's kind of part of the plan, though, where they want to tell you, they're like, okay, well, tell them if you want to be a bad guy, you got to be a Nazi. And so it's like, oh, now we have bad guys that we can constantly it's a self-fulfilling prophecy sort of thing.
Yeah, but it's kind of backfired on them because
some
nobody
of the stuff
cares.
on Twitter, yeah.
The stuff on Twitter can get nuts, but like nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares about your Hitler comparisons.
Right.
And when you've diluted a historical figure like that,
it's not good.
It's not good. It's not good at all. And yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why and how a political party like the left, like the Democratic Party, can continue to fail so spectacularly and not shift tactics. And that's why we're seeing Trump pull away with this, because they just keep failing.
I think the moment when everything, and it's bizarre. I was out on a deep sea fishing trip when this happened, and we just happened to have like satellite, the TV was working when they made the decision. I drove down to Orange Beach to get on this fishing vessel. Okay. On my drive down, I was talking to my former boss, Lee Habib, that created Laura Ingram's show. Brilliant political mind. And he's basically talking about how nervous he is that if Kamala picks Josh Shapiro, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
If she picks Josh Shapiro, they win Pennsylvania. And Lee is dealing with all the conservative billionaires in the country, all the mega donors, all of Trump's major, from Bernie Marcus to Tim Dunn, and all these other guys. Lee's talking to all them, and they're all scared to death that she's about to announce that Josh Shapiro's going to be the vice president, and the whole thing's over. And they picked Tampon Tim.
Yep.
They picked Tampon Tim, and that was it.
Yeah, and why? And lately I haven't been agreeing with Ben Shapiro much. I think Ben Shapiro's right about the Josh Shapiro being snubbed. I think he was too Jewish.
Well, no, exactly. Even though her husband is Jewish, and it's because the psychotic wing of the Democrat Party, which is not very big, they continue to pander to it. And so who do they go to? They go to Minnesota, that's basically ran by Muslims. Okay, and say, well, not only are we going to not Shapiro, we're going to go with the guy that's the governor of the Muslim state. And it did them zero favors.
Do you remember the movie Blazing Saddles?
I do.
Remember the very end where the fight scene crashes into a different lot?
Yeah. And they're doing the dancing.
Yeah, the French Mistake. Yeah. It's Dom DeLuise. Throw out your hands, stick out your tush. This was Tim Walz as soon as I saw him.
Yes.
I'm like, he is Dom DeLuise.
He is the walking personification of jazz hands.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Tim Dillon, who I just love his comedy. Tim Dillon started calling him Funnel Cake Dad. And it's like, that fits like a glove. It's just so perfect. And watching the debate, I didn't even think this guy, like, I felt bad for him. Not in a good way, like I'm going to vote for him, but just like, he seems so out of his depth. I think Lee Habib was absolutely right. That is the moment where it's like, ooh, y'all really screwed the pooch here.
But who else were they going to go with?
Shapiro.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that I think you were right about their instincts about him being.
But the voting bloc. The pro-Palestine, anti-Semitic wing of the Democrat Party is not very big. The Democrat Party is it's a lot of Jews in the Democrat Party. Okay, so I think there's probably more Jews than Muslims in the Democrat Party, and so the decision was bizarre, and it shows how dumb and tone deaf they are.
Oh yeah, and look at all the Muslim communities in Michigan and in Minnesota. How left-wing are they? Not very.
Well, and Real Clear Politics has Minnesota still as a toss-up. Well, that would be amazing if Trump wins Minnesota.
Yeah, I think he's like I feel like there's a bunch of states that are in play that like Minnesota and Virginia. I think are for sure in play. Mm-hmm. Well, I think we win Pennsylvania.
Of course,
we there you go. Yeah, it's my my very neutral news guy here. The Republicans are going to win. I think he wins I think there's a bunch of states that are in play that you wouldn't even think of, possibly Colorado. And they're even showing with the numbers of minorities that are coming, as you just said, to vote for Adolf Hitler. You even like some of these bigger states like Texas and New York. I don't think there's any way that you win those, but like, what if he wins 40 states? Like, wouldn't that be crazy?
Oh, it'd be amazing. If you get a Reagan type election, man, it's going to be fun to watch.
I can't believe you said Colorado. They were the bluest state last election season.
Well, so I'd be from Colorado.
You do?
And so in Colorado, what you have is a deep red state with Denver and Boulder. Okay, it's very much like Georgia. Okay, it's like the Fulton County thing is Denver and Boulder. That whole state is made up of military from Fort Carson, the NORAD, the Air Force Academy, like all this kind of stuff. People who work in the gas industry, a bunch of churches, and like focus on the family. Like that's the Colorado economy. Okay, but there's Denver and Boulder.
Yeah, kind of like in Texas. There's just Austin and Dallas.
Yeah, right. Well, I got to hit another break here soon. This part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you, buy a home. If you're looking to purchase a home, maybe it's not your first rodeo, maybe it's your first time. They're the best in the game. They'll walk you through that home buying process. No surprises on closing day when you stick with Alabama Home Mortgage. And of course, a lot of people are thinking about refinancing. Rates have moved. Also, there's a lot of hope in there that Trump's going to win, and it looks like the markets are liking that a heck of a lot. So if you've been on the fence, if you've been on the bubble, maybe you still are, at least have a conversation with Kim and Madeline there at Alabama Home Mortgage. Let them get to know you, your goals in your refinancing of a home. And you don't have to pull the trigger that moment, but you just make a plan. Again, call them at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies like Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hey guys, this is Todd Clark with River Region Contracting, your premier roofing contractor in Central Alabama. So remember the name, River Region Contracting, for all your roofing needs. We're not affiliated with any other roofing company in the River Region. We've been in the roofing business since 2005. We don't have to buy our leads, and we don't have to knock on doors when the storms come around. We have thousands of satisfied customers throughout Central Alabama. So call us at 334-356-8635. That's 334-356-8635.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The River Region's News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? You seem in a better mood today.
I am in a better mood. I was angry. Thank you, Duke, for setting me off. Yeah, much better day. What's the score there today, Cohen's?
Score today is 28-7. We had a customer that had some issues with a dryer that they had purchased from us. The dryer was a 2012 model, so it's like 12 years old, maybe a little older, depending on when they got it. And anyway, they came in, we talked, and anyway, they're getting the new Speed Queen tomorrow. My dad had sold them a Speed Queen washer probably in 2019 or maybe 2020. But anyway, she's going to finish out the set, and she'll have a matching set tomorrow, and she'll have a Speed Queen washer and a Speed Queen dryer, so they'll match, and she'll be doing good with her laundry.
I love it. I love hearing it. And folks, whether it's the appliance side of the store or the electronic side, you can shop from home at thinkcohens.com, but there's nothing like actually going to see things in person. getting a sense of them, especially those appliances. But also, it's not like you want to see the brand new 85 or 98-inch TV on your cell phone or your computer screen. You want to see the thing in person before you actually pull the trigger. And so stop by today, 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. They're open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And be sure to find Michael or one of the great team members and say, hey, I heard Michael on the radio show with that really happy Joey guy.
The really happy one.
Yeah.
What days does he show up?
It depends on a lot of things.
Depends on Eddie.
Yeah.
But Eddie's been there a lot lately. He's been doing good.
He hadn't been taking too many breaks.
Getting ready for a week off.
No.
Johnny, come on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, y'all have a great weekend. Y'all come see us. We'll be open tomorrow until 4, and we just want to help you make the right choice for whatever your needs are.
Appreciate the call, Michael. Have a good weekend.
See you, bud.
Thank y'all.
Again, 272-9228. Not much time left in this hour, like a minute or so. So I wanted to share this clip because people are saying it's real footage of Kamala Harris early years at a beauty pageant.
Okay. Recent polls have shown a fifth of Americans can't locate the U.S. on a world map. Why do you think this is?
I personally believe that U.S. Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have maps, and I believe that our education, like such as in South Africa and the Iraq, everywhere like such as, and I believe that they should, our education over here in the U.S. should help the U.S. or should help South Africa and should help the Iraq and the Asian countries, so we will be able to build up our future for our.
Thank you very much.
Yep. How did Mario keep a straight face?
I don't
That's what I
know.
wanna know.
Yeah, that is one of the finest moments for Mario Lopez right there.
Mario, speaking of another good Catholic boy, Mario Lopez.
Oh, yeah.
Why do you assume that he's Catholic?
Because he is.
Is it because his name's Lopez?
No, because he talks about being Catholic ad nauseum.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
And such as.
Yeah, and such as. I believe that U.S. Americans, such as.
They don't
South
have
Africans.
maps.
They don't have maps. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris is married or is running with a maps.
Ooh.
Get it?
I do.
You do.
And on
Minor
that,
attractive person?
Yeah.
that edgy note, we got to hit our top of the hour break.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
That's RN News. I'm Jason Walker. Election 11 days away. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris both hitting the campaign trail. Each are in Texas today. Trouble at Spirit Airlines. The company is cutting jobs, selling off jets worth millions of dollars as the budget carrier aims to cut costs amid looming financial struggles. Spirit says it has identified about $80 million in cost-cutting measures set to begin early next year that could provide cash for the company that's faced a number of losses since the start of the COVID pandemic. Economic woes in Russia. The central bank, they're raising its key interest rate by 2 percentage points to a record high 21%. And AAA says price of gasoline down 5 cents, now at $3.14. This is SRN News.
The socialists who want to move into the White House have a lot of plans for your money. One of them is to control the price of food, and this is just the start. Could 401ks and IRAs be next on their agenda? It might sound far-fetched, but so did price fixing just months ago. Hi, Donald Trump Jr. here. If you've spent decades building your nest egg, you can act now to stop your savings from falling into the hands of the socialists. It's why Americans are turning to gold, the ultimate safe haven in uncertain times. To see how easy it is to diversify your retirement with gold, get a free info kit from my friends at Birch Gold by texting the word prepare to 989898. Birch Gold makes it easy to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold while preserving your tax advantage status. Don't wait any longer. Protect your financial future now. Text prepare to the number 989898 for your free info kit from Birch Gold, the only gold company I trust.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From a little fender bender to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For over 35 years, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
We have been in record high territory for a couple of days now, and I think that continues tomorrow. And even the nights are milder and comfortable. We'll be in the upper 50s tonight with mostly clear skies. Saturday's high in the upper 80s, and the record is 90, so we'll be close. We'll be in the middle 80s on Sunday with sunshine dominating the weekend forecast. In fact, I don't even see any rain next week through Halloween and beyond. As the drought continues to expand, we are now in a level 2 moderate drought. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has digital banking solutions to help you keep up. Check balances, pay bills, and much more. Learn more at cbsbank.com. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for information. Member FDIC.
1819 News.
U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville is talking about early voting in the 2024 election. Tuberville was on WVNN with Dale Jackson and was asked about what he's seeing on the ground regarding states that have early voting in place.
Republicans have been one-day voters, and we spent a lot of time over the last 3 or 4 years telling our people, listen, if they give you a chance to vote early, go vote, and get other people to go vote. Once you vote, you got the opportunity for maybe a week, 2 weeks to talk to people, tell them go vote, give them a ride yourself, get them to the polls. That's what Democrats have done, and that's what they did back in 20 and 22. So right now, if you look at the percentage of voting going out, if you trust the polls at the polling station, Republicans are turning out 2-1 over Democrats. So that's a good start, but we got to finish this thing off.
I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
I'm Amy Beth Schaefer with Alabama Unfiltered Radio, and when I need the news and I need it fast, I turn to Andrea Tice and the Daily Detail. On my way in, it is the most convenient, best way for me to digest what's going on so that I can use it for our show. She tells you what's going on in Alabama that day first and fast. So listen to the Daily Detail with Andrea Tice. Don't miss out.
The Daily Detail is available wherever podcasts are found.
Controversial Canadian psychologist and Daily Wire podcaster Jordan Peterson is coming to Alabama. Peterson will be promoting his next book, We Who Wrestle with God. That book is being released this November. Peterson will be at the Von Braun Center in Huntsville on March 17th of next year and the BJCC in Birmingham on March 18th. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Christmas open house days at Cafco Outlet are coming soon. Shop Wednesday, October 30th through Saturday, November 2nd to take advantage of great deals, enjoy refreshments, and door prize registration. On Saturday, we have music by Brian Brantley and a designer demo by Karen Gresham. Want early access to the Christmas bargains? Shop now, because we've already discounted our merchandise to our open house prices. Shop now while the selection is at its best to avoid the crowds and the rush. Your best deal is at Cafco Outlet on the Wetumpka Highway.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. For Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Hey, miss! I don't mean to be telling tales out of school, but there's a feller in there who'll pay you $10 if you sing into his pan. I'm not here to make a record, you dumb cracker. They broadcast me out on the radio.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Now, as Eddie advised the other day, I don't push this enough. This song that we come into every hour, it's now out the full song with me singing and everything. Just search Joey Clark, Where's the Liberty, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube Music. And, it doesn't cost you much anything to stream it, but it's Where's the Liberty, Joey Clark on all those streaming platforms. And we have a full studio today. Daggum. Eddie, how you doing, man? Like, really, it's good seeing you. Like,
I had a
I
great
missed
day.
you.
I got to
earlier.
go be a granddad today and go on a field trip with the grandkids.
Mhm.
First one ever. So
First one ever.
yeah, so I was on fire. I mean, it was great.
Though, were there moments when you're in the middle of this field trip where you're really enjoying yourself that that thought snuck in? You know what I'm talking about.
Always be closing. I'll be honest. Always be closing. It was a difficult decision, but I left all my business cards behind just so I would strictly focus on the grandkids today.
That's awesome. Good.
I did talk real estate one time, but somebody else brought it up.
Okay.
I had no
See?
choice.
See?
No choice.
See?
Put that coffee down.
That is that man's Bible, that movie. Just he has the screenplay memorized already.
Do you like the stage production or the movie with Jack
I'm more of
Lemmon?
the movie because
Yeah.
I can watch it at home. I can get emotional with it and not worry about people.
How
kinda
good is
judging.
Jack Lemmon in that? God,
Best.
It's a good movie.
The best.
Glenn Ross. Anyway, let's go to Sam. Hey, Sam, you dirty dog.
Hey, Joey. Everyone, it's good to speak with y'all today. And I was listening. What's the name of that song again? Where's the Ladies of Liberty?
Yeah, Where's the Liberty?
Hey, listen, I'll be sure to check it out. I wanted to start up. First off, let me say, Brian Dawson, thank you for coming in. I'm like everybody else. I think I'm confused about the PA commissioner and the governor problems, and any info we get on that just helps.
Yeah.
But earlier during the show, y'all kept talking about the Trump team, and that's what I wanted to comment on. It's just the amazing, the people that have surrounded Trump, and one person that we can't forget about. I see him every so often is Junior, Trump Jr. The daggone, what's his name?
Don Jr.
Donnie?
Don Jr. That's right. He's out. He's keeping a schedule like his father. He's hitting places, doing the speeches. He's getting in the public address time. That's why you can tell when you do see him in interviews and what he's very comfortable and whatnot, knowledgeable of what's happening, and he's active in his father's campaign. It's that one, of course, and of course Tulsi and RFK. But I just like I said, it does help. It's just something I like. I just want to share that.
Well, I appreciate it, Sam. I really do. I hope you have a good weekend, man.
Thanks, Sam.
Yeah. That's it. I'll go. Thank y'all. All right.
See you, Sammy.
Oh no!
You nervous Nelly? Why do you have to get off the phone so quick?
Yeah, he has his days. But I had a day the other day, and it's this guy's fault. But I still love him. Hey, Duke, how you doing?
How you doing?
I'm great. How you doing?
Yeah, I was on hold listening to you, and you don't have wind in your jaws today, do you, sir?
You could try me.
Huh?
You could try me.
I want to get on another cat right away. If I could.
Mhm.
How you doing, Mr. Craig and Mr. Brian Dawson?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you
that's
for
what
at
I
least
want.
acknowledging my existence, unlike Sam just now.
Yeah. And my boy Eddie. I heard Brian Dawson say that. Now I don't know whether it's AI or something I misheard or whatever. Hell, I'm crazy and hearing things, hallucinating or something. But he said that somebody got shot in the head twice. Explain that one to me, Mr. Dawson. I heard you say that.
I didn't. I might have said it twice, but I didn't say that he got shot
You
in the
said
head
he got
twice.
shot in the head. You said he got shot in the head.
He did get
He
shot.
did get shot in the head.
What are you,
Yeah,
Chat
man, he didn't get shot in
GPT?
no head. No, I didn't. He didn't get shit in the head. He did not
Where
get
is
shot
your
in the
ear,
head.
Duke?
I'm going by. He didn't get. I'm about to clarify all that. He did not get shot in the ear either. I didn't see any evidence of that after, before, and after.
You supposed to
Now,
see a
that's my
bullet?
opinion. That's my opinion.
How are you
Now,
supposed to
that's my
see a
opinion.
bullet, Duke?
I didn't see the evidence of somebody was shot. I don't see any damn scars on the ear. I don't see anything. Period. So that's my opinion now. But y'all can run around here and buy into all that just like you told a lie about the man riding on the damn helicopter with him, and man, the hell wasn't on the helicopter with him. So
Next time you go down to Mar-a-Lago, Duke. Next time you go down to
Well,
Mar-a-Lago,
I'm
you ask him to see his ear.
I saw the damn ear close up.
I know you're down there on the lazy river all the time, down there in Mar-a-Lago.
Yep. Dude likes to talk tough, but he'd be nibbling on that ear if you ever met Trump.
y'all keep forgetting I'm black, see, and I had some sisters, okay, and my sisters used to get this damn straightening cone on their head.
Yep.
When we was coming up. And my mom hit that earlobe every once in a while. They say, ow!
It burns. It burns, that hot cone.
And leave a damn scar. Leave a scar.
Mhm.
If a bullet hit you, my guy told me if a damn bullet hit you, it's going to leave a scar. I don't see anything on down the ball, but that's y'all opinion. Y'all want to believe all that right there? Y'all want to believe the other stuff?
I do want to believe it. I kind of saw it.
No, it's like the realest thing I've seen in American politics in a long time.
You know, he grabbed his ear. There was blood on his face.
Oh, yeah. Now, let me tell you something else, too, now. A real shooter gonna bring a real gun to the damn fight.
They brought a real gun. They didn't bring a real shooter.
Now, a real gun and a real
They didn't
shooter.
have a real good scope either.
A real sniper gonna get his job done. So let me leave all that alone right there. But back to this other stuff.
No. Before you can, no.
You are a rude, terrible person.
That's all I just said.
Yo, let me get away with it. Come on, man. What you got to say?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go. You first. You go ahead.
You called, bruh.
Now, okay. What my other thing is now, should we go ahead on? Cause I didn't call 2 or 3 people already and told them don't even worry about they going to the damn poll. Cause I heard these guys that I have faith in them that they said damn it, Trump don't want this thing. So I need to go ahead on and not, break the news to people I know, loved ones, and go and tell my wife. She might knock me in the mouth and everything, but I'll go ahead and tell her that it's over.
I wouldn't tell her it's over, but I could pretty much guarantee that as far as the state of Alabama's concerned, yeah, Donald Trump will win the state of Alabama.
No, I want you to go to your wife and say, baby, tonight we're dark MAGA.
And with Duke, it's even funnier.
Get the hat to match.
Then another thing. I've been hearing this talk about, brother, man, Blackie and them ain't going to vote for this woman. Let me tell you something about color folks, which Eddie, y'all know about this right here. Hell, Eddie, when you worked at the Hyundai plant, did black folks show up on time? Well, probably down there. But most jobs, they ain't show up on time.
Are you talking about
Wait, this is Duke or now, Uncle Ruckus on the phone.
Yeah. Black folks ain't gonna do nothing on time, so we're gonna vote the day off. So we ain't talking to the folks about who we gonna vote for, all that right there. We going out. Now, that's what we do. I say just like going to work. Yeah, we might be 5 minutes late, 2 minutes late, or 10 minutes before. Okay? But so understand that right there. Then
wait, could you tell me what those going to work? What are those black jobs?
What are black jobs?
Yeah.
Back then, it was just a job.
Just a job that somebody works, right?
Yeah,
Still just a job.
It was everybody's job back then. But
I don't forget anything. I remember you giving me hell about that.
Well, all right, go ahead.
No, I'm done with it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. There was all many black jobs out here. But what I'm saying, when you're coming up working for the man during the summer, I was working during the summer with my dad at the place.
Yeah.
So I saw a lot of stuff. But after I got out of school, I went to college for a year. But I got in the workforce, and it's not a good paying job. But I wouldn't call it. It's everybody's job. Because everybody white and black was on these jobs. But
okay,
the black job nowadays is the quarterback position at the colleges, the white universities. And black jobs is to be the president of the United States.
Okay? Sure. Okay.
Kind of.
So what you're saying is it's open opportunity to everyone, regardless of color.
Don't need to sit down. Because we let y'all have it for 45 years. That means we had it for, 1 year? And then let one more Negro get up in there before I die.
Obama was, let's be honest, Obama was only kind of black.
He was blacker than Kamala, but he wasn't black.
He wasn't black as Bill Clinton.
He's a red bone like me. See, he's a red bone like me. So
I have never met you, Duke. There is no way in hell you are red boned. You are midnight.
No.
I don't believe it. You lie like a road.
My eyes ain't even dark. I had a hell of a She said, you got blue eyes.
Well, we can solve that. We can solve that, Duke. You just got to go dark MAGA. Problem solved.
I ain't going. No, because black folk get ignorant. They get to right behind Trump. The real dog ones, I won't say like I am so I can be me.
Yeah, the phrase beige don't age applies to Duke quite well. Yeah.
So I can be music. I meant that music. Huh? Say what now?
I said the phrase beige don't age applies to you quite well, kind sir. You're looking good these days.
I'm a Pantone colors. I used to mix colors back in the day when I used to do certain items and stuff. I'm a Pantone color. I'm a peanut butter complexion kind of cat. Y'all heard that in the past.
Yeah.
See, that makes sense. Yeah, your attitude makes sense now because you're just bitter because you're
I
slightly
ain't bitter. I'm
beige.
not bitter. No, nigga, misunderstand me. I'm not bitter now.
No, he's got to
So
make
y'all
up for
oughta
his
y'all
bitter
oughta-
peanut butter.
Y'all ought to say black folks are mean and trying to say, oh, homegirl mad because she put Trump in their place. But she's not mean. She just, handling her business.
When did she put Trump in his place?
At that damn debate, and he ain't showed up no more since.
She's gonna put him in place. She's gonna put him in place on November 5th when
Yeah,
she
there you
loses.
go. Everything that she's supposedly put him
now.
in place about on that debate has come out to be false. Every single
No,
thing.
it ain't. No, it ain't.
Yes,
no,
it
no,
has.
no, no.
Yes, it has, Duke.
No.
Yes,
no.
it has.
Which part? What part?
Let's see. First part about no soldiers being in the warfare right now.
Number
you
one.
had soldiers kind of live stream it right now. If I'm not in the live action, then where the hell am I?
Right.
That was just the first one. We can keep going down the list. I
We
have
went
to
to
pull
the
it up, but it
Virginia
just was
thing,
one after the
Charlottesville thing,
other.
and
after
then
the
the
other.
She got a long ways to catch up with Trump lies. So we got to pick
Really?
the
You
one
can-
who
you
tells
can
the
look
left
at
lie.
What, the
We can't-
fine people hoax, the whole Russia hoax, framing him for treason.
Well, let's go with
Saying his crowd size isn't big. His crowd size is huge.
Huge.
No, he's
Like
talking about
Arnold
that damn
Palmer's.
He's talking about that man. He's talking about that man. He ain't talking about
Dude, you can blow into this all you want. Just remember,
I tell you what though, y'all. At the end of the day, I'm having fun with this here thing. But at the end of the day, though, I'm gonna use my common sense and whoever God tell me to vote for, that's who I'm going for. But it won't be Trump. How about that?
Then you won't be listening to God, will you?
you got anything before we let you go to say to the Bammers out there?
The Bammers today.
Yeah.
Who Bama play this week?
Missouri, I think. Mizzou.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, these Bammers, man. I don't know if I would mess with them this week, man. I messed with them for 2 weeks in a row. Hey, they won't answer the phone call. One of them had to send somebody down there. He walking around the house like he wanted to do something to himself and everything. I said, hey, I just might need to pull back a little bit because during election season right now, so they ain't able to handle both right now. So that's the reason I kind of laid off the politics a little bit. But hey, I can't stand it. I got to talk politics today. I can't stand it. So y'all going too far trying to get this damn thing to Trump. Nope. Trump got to earn it.
Dark MAGA,
He
baby.
hasn't shown me
Dark
anything yet.
MAGA.
He hasn't shown me nothing yet.
Peanut butter.
We
MAGA.
we put
Peanut butter MAGA.
All he doing is bitching all the time.
No, he's having fun, man. He's having a lot of fun.
No, this boy said last night that, damn it, this country is garbage. He need to go on over there with Putin that and get his ass on. Leave this country if he don't like it anymore.
Hey,
Putin got a
Duke.
spot
Hey,
for
Duke.
him
What
over
we
there.
putting up on this election? You said Trump ain't gonna win. What we putting up?
Trump ain't gonna win. I put up let me see. You like pig ear sandwich, don't you, Craig? Don't you like pig ear sandwich?
Oh yeah.
I'll get you one of those. You get me some. Get me
All
a
right.
T-bone steak or something.
I deal.
1819 News does not condone gambling. I think so.
Appreciate the call, dude.
Thanks, Duke.
See you, brother, man.
Is my illustrious boss over here unaware of the fact that I had to pay Eddie out on a bet
That was a negotiation.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
In order for us to walk 2 miles, you were going to buy us dinner. That's pretty much what happened.
Dude, I went to that play. I went to the Texas Day Brazil with my family not too long after that. It took us 3 minutes to get to there. Meanwhile, Joseph.
I didn't park in the right spot.
In a different zip code you
Yeah.
parked in.
Well, you got to work for it before you eat.
And I wore a new pair of Nikes and my feet
so
were
funny.
bleeding. I have a callus still on the top of my toe. On the top.
And folks, if you're wondering, why is this show, especially Joey, so high energy today? Just remember.
Is cocaine a stronger up? Yeah. It's so,
Cocaine will
you,
make
so you're way up with cocaine more than anything else you can think of.
Cocaine will turn you into a damn owl, homie. You know what I'm saying?
What a time. What a time to be alive. It's just so stupid. It's serious, and then it's so hilariously stupid at times. I love it.
Me too.
I absolutely love it. Let's go to line. Who's next? Who's been waiting the longest? Line one. You're on there. Who's this?
It's Joey from Bravo.
Hey, Joey, how you doing, bud?
If I was any better, I'd be a twin.
Oh.
All right.
All right. But Duke mentioned, he made one comment. If you go back and listen to it, he goes, y'all must have forgot I'm black. Hey, Duke, ain't no person on this radio listening forgot you were black, homie. None of us. All right, we know it. Trust me, we know it. Now, I want to hear, I'm going to try to change this up a little bit.
All right.
Byron, I want to hear one thing that you're optimistic about in the upcoming year.
But Byron's not
Craig.
here. It's Craig.
Oh, Joey.
It's Brian
Oh,
and
Joey.
Craig.
Brian, Craig, not Byron.
And Brian, I'm sorry. Brian, I'm sorry.
We're in the forgiveness business. It's okay.
It's true.
All right. I want to hear something you're optimistic about in the next year. Craig, something you're really mad about in the upcoming year.
Good question.
Eddie, something you're excited about in the upcoming year. And Joey, something you're dreaming of.
So optimism from Brian, something you're angry about, Craig,
Mm-hmm.
something Eddie's excited for, and then something I'm dreaming about.
Dreaming.
Yeah.
All right. I will start us off. I am most excited about the continued decentralization of mass media and what that's done for, I mean, I said it earlier, liberty, freedom, whatever you want to call it, but just the amazing things we're seeing in that space and that 1819 News exists while it's all happening, I think is very
optimistic.
Pretty awesome.
Okay, something I'm angry about. It's going to happen in the next 2 weeks. I'm really angry that a nation full of dunderheads has the same ability to vote and affect my life when they shouldn't be allowed to drive, much less vote in a election to select the destiny of myself and my children and my children's children. And I hate the fact that this country is filled with dummies that get to determine how much of my money I get to keep, how much of my stuff I get to keep, how much gasoline costs, et cetera, et cetera. That makes me angry on a daily basis.
As far as excitement, now my excitement is based on a Trump victory, and I'm pretty much guaranteed that. There's no doubt in my mind that's going to happen. So being in real estate for the last 2 years, and it's been a crap industry, I'm excited to be able to not look for a job, one day have a closing, the next day worry about being broke. Real estate right now, that Biden administration, since they've got in, have done a number on us, including our paychecks and including interest rates. So I'm excited that I'll be able to live a lot more free again soon.
What I'm dreaming of is what you asked me, Joey?
Yes, sir.
Love.
A white Christmas.
Yeah.
White.
Yeah. Love and family.
If you're looking for love, you need to go to the Grange.
And bring you a fistful of singles.
ZZ Top coming to town. Don't let him.
Did you ever find that house in Dothan, Joey? Just curious.
No.
Okay.
No.
Are we looking for it?
Appreciate the call, Joey. Great one, man.
Thanks, Joey.
272-9228. Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
That's Papa B.
Hey, Papa B.
Well, so I would say, seeing as how the news cycle is basically 3 days, I think that's probably the length and breadth of any kind of like headline screaming something that happens in the news. That's the lifespan. I'm looking at November 2nd as the day for something. If there is anything, for something to happen, if there's going to be something big that happens, what do you think about that theory, Joey?
The day before,
3 days.
or 3 days before? Yeah, no, that's about
3
right.
days.
I think that's the right timing. What do you think it'll be?
Who knows?
Yeah, it's hard to
Somebody's
predict.
arrest, maybe. I mean, if it's on the Trump side, it's going to be probably somebody gets arrested. P. Diddy style headline grabber. I don't know.
Or maybe it's
that's
major
what
war breaks out, because it seems like
Oh,
we're already in the
that,
friggin' middle of it.
Yeah.
If it's on the Harris Biden side, I mean, who knows, man? But some kind of major war thing happens. Yeah, that would kind of suit. That'd be about right. But but I believe that November 2nd, maybe the 1st, that's when we're really going to see if there's going to be anything else major that's going to happen, at least by then. And then, after that, then it'll be, well, can we cheat to win? How much do we have to cheat to win? how long do we have to delay? Can we delay? You know, it'll be all in. Can we, as you know, the Democrats possibly flip any kind of Trump victory over to our side of the ticket, which they will try. I mean, I'm believing it's like going to be like a cyber attack or something big to say, oh no, the election's all messed up now. We just can't possibly count all these votes. Y'all got to give us some time here. You know, it's going to take a week. We're not going to know. If we know on election night, I'm going to be shocked and amazed.
It looks like the only place where that's a real concern now is Pennsylvania. Every other state's allowed to start counting early. They are going to start counting early. Pennsylvania is the one state where, no, you can't count until a certain point during election day, all the mail-in. So the crazy scenario would be it's undecided and it's because of Pennsylvania. But laws were changed in Arizona and Michigan and Georgia. Like, I think that might be the potential scenario, but let's hope that's not the case. Let's pray for a landslide. But I appreciate the call, Papa B.
I'm hearing you. All right. Thanks, bye.
See you, bud.
And as a quick palate cleanser, because I got to hit another break here, I didn't know, of all people, that Alex Trebek could go so hardcore. This clip I just came across, ladies and gentlemen, Alex Trebek, and it starts from the very beginning. It's a little subtle here.
Her favorite type of music is something I've never heard of, but it doesn't sound like fun.
Okay.
I think it's very fun. It's called nerdcore hip hop. It's
nerdcore hip hop.
Yes. It's people who identify as nerdy, rapping about the things they love: video games, science fiction, having a hard time meeting romantic partners. You know, it's really catchy and fun.
Losers, in other words.
Well,
my man. All right, my man.
Alex Trebek, everybody.
R.I.P., homie.
We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better Business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
Hi, I'm Paul Doe. Me and my wife Jessica own the Seafood Bistro over here in Perry Hill and Carmichael. We've been advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting for going on 3 years now. It has been a great turnout. It's been a pleasure partnering with a local company like Blue Water. And if you have your own business, I suggest teaming up with a partner like Blue Water Broadcasting. It's a local company that helps local businesses.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather. We have been in record high territory for a couple of days now, and I think that continues tomorrow. And even the nights are milder and comfortable. We'll be in the upper 50s tonight with mostly clear skies. Saturday's high in the upper 80s, and the record is 90, so we'll be close. We'll be in the middle 80s on Sunday with sunshine dominating the weekend forecast. In fact, I don't even see any rain next week through Halloween and beyond. As the drought continues to expand, we are now in a level 2 moderate drought. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon, or as we're calling this thing online, Joey Clark Live. Brian Dawson had to scoot, but great seeing him. Great having him back. I hadn't seen him in a while.
Yeah, he's looking great.
He said it was your recommendations for a regimen?
Yeah, we worked together, trying to get him all slim, trim, and.
I mean, I might need to.
It, man. He's looking good.
I might need to seek your counsel because I'm at the point of, okay, I'm going to hit a certain number. What do I do to gain muscle and not gain fat? How do I bulk in a reasonable way?
Well, first of all, completely eliminate the concept of a bulk out of your system.
Cool.
You should go for lean mass. You're never going to be able to avoid gaining fat while you're in the process of gaining muscle, but you can mitigate it.
No.
And it's just, hey, if you should go for about 0.5% of your body weight per week on average. And if you're exceeding that, drop your calories by about 200. Okay. If you're not meeting that, bump them up by 200. And then wash, rinse, repeat week after week.
Because I've got the deficit thing down.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, cool.
It's easy as pie, really. It's just most people, they're like, I'm trying to gain muscle, so I'm going to take a shaker. I'm going to put Snickers bars and peanut butter and protein powder and oatmeal.
I do that, but I'm not trying to gain muscle. Oh,
Yeah.
you're talking about like healthy milkshake, not a soft
God, isn't a milkshake just the greatest thing?
Yes, I had a Chick-fil-A one today. Didn't eat it, but it was so good.
Let's go to Dick Brubaker. Hey, Dick, how you doing?
Hey, guys, how are y'all?
Great, man.
Hey, listen, one of your previous callers was saying that he hopes for a Trump landslide, so we won't have to worry about, tight vote totals and people stealing the election.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for that to happen, Republicans, especially in the South, are going to have to do something they haven't done in a while, and that is turn out at levels higher than 50%. I mean, the turnout in Alabama, our voting turnout history over the last 4 cycles has just been getting worse every time. And people have got to realize that this matters. And, go get an absentee ballot. Even if it's inconvenient. I mean, this is important. This is more important than whatever else you've got on your mind. And, like on District 2,
We had 13% turnout on Super Tuesday. And, you know, I'm not real thrilled with the way my opponent ran her campaign, but she still needs to get elected.
Right.
But I'm telling you, the voter enthusiasm, you talk to anybody in the business who's taking polls and trying to measure what they think the turnout's going to be in those 13 counties, I mean, it is grim.
I've noticed it was signage in County Downs and Bellhurst and that route I take. I see one Walls, Harris Walls sign, and then my next door neighbor, who I won't say his name, let's say he's well known in Alabama politics and deserves to be well known. He's got a Trump sign, and a Dobson sign, but he's kind of in the business.
Mm-hmm.
That's it in the entire neighborhood.
Well, and I'm a little disappointed that. Well, I don't want to say. I don't want to be critical, but if you look online, the Democrat candidate is definitely outperforming the Republican candidate when it comes to how many hits he's getting. And I mean, you can't do anything online without running into a Shamari ad.
Right.
And and the way he is, frankly, he is playing the race card, but, it's a brand new majority black district, and that's how he thinks he's going to get his votes in. And, sometimes you got to get in there and play hardball, and if the other side is going to campaign in that way, you need to stir up your own base. I mean, this stuff is really going to matter this go around. I mean, if Trump's in office but the Democrats control Congress, what have we accomplished?
Right. Absolutely.
And so, y'all, if anybody's got a reason not to vote for Caroline, it's me. But I'm going to get out there and vote for her. So, I mean, y'all can too. And you can, they've opened up absentee voting already, haven't they? In Alabama?
Yes, I believe so.
Well, so you don't have an excuse. I mean, you've got time to go down there, get your absentee ballot, and file it. And if you live in District 2 in those 13 counties, Trump will win in Alabama whether you vote or not. But there are a lot of other Republicans on that ballot in places like Barber County, county commissioners, probate judges, people like that, Republicans who will get beat if Republicans don't turn out because they think Trump's the only race that matters. I mean, come on, guys. We have got to turn these voting trends around, and now with this election coming up, it would be a great time to start.
Well, I hear loud and clear, and I appreciate the time as always, Dick.
Hey, anytime, guys. Y'all doing a good job. I like your show. Hey, go Alex Trebek. There you go. Bye.
272-9228. It makes me think of, have you seen Charlie Kirk in particular, frustrated that the group that has softened the most, like Trump's gained with Hispanic and black men, he's gained with working class, like union voters, these sorts of things. It seems the softened has been evangelical Christians.
Yeah, I mean, they've been bullied for 8 years for supporting Trump, and can get a bit tedious.
Well, and is it more like pastor based, like a particular church, like in a? Because that seems where it's coming from. Like,
well, yeah, I mean, there was the whole concept of Big Eva, which is kind of a play on the big everything, but big evangelicalism. That term came about in the era of Donald Trump, because a lot of these very popular, high profile theological voices kind of came out of nowhere and got very soft, especially during in the first election, talking about we know like Hillary Clinton loves killing babies and she's done this and she's done that, but this one guy's really mean and we should be like Jesus and be nice and sweet and lovely. And so what ensued was a significant amount of inter-religious bullying from people who supported Donald Trump, and this is coming from a Christian who will not be voting for Donald Trump, but I understand the rationale. And so a lot of people have just been kowtowed and bullied into not publicly voicing their support for Donald Trump, and I think that's been internalized, and a lot of evangelicals are just straight up not going to vote.
And what I find remarkable is, like, it seems safe to assume the number one issue, I know it is for many Catholic voters, is the abortion pro-life issue. And you might be very critical of his leave it to the states, you want a national ban, these sorts of things. But he's the guy who put the 3 justices on the Supreme Court and overturned Roe v. Wade, which was an evangelical conservative concern for generations, and they won. Like, why can't you take a win?
That's a good point, because again, it was never about the issues with the evangelicals. The big Eva types, they care more about being seen as pious than they do about actually trying to advance some sort of cause. And that's why there's this huge divide amongst evangelicals about those who believe, again, the term is pietism, of just like they want to show their piety. We don't get involved in politics. We're above this. Our future home is in heaven. And then there's people like, no, the what Jesus said, what Jesus taught has very practical applications for our day-to-day lives, and we should vote for the candidate that most advances the principles of the Christian religion.
Well,
and that's the divide.
And then there are obviously denominations. Isn't it notorious that Jehovah's Witnesses don't vote?
Yeah,
and
they
like
don't vote.
yes, and those it's like I think that's baked into the cake.
Yeah.
And all sorts of certain denominations, or if you're a Christian, you have certain political beliefs that don't mesh with Republican or Democrat. I can see why you refrain. If you're more that libertarian camp, I can obviously see that. But I'm more talking about folks who have always voted and voted Republican and were part of that 3-legged stool of, your more neocon, hawkish foreign policy types, your Goldwater libertarian types, and then the third part of that stool was the evangelical.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, imagine this. Imagine all of the people that you admire, even your pastor, your personal pastor, treating you and calling you all sorts of ugly things for choosing to support someone. For a lot of people that aren't firmly set in themselves, that can be brutal. That can wear on you, and you can start to internalize that and be like, well, maybe I am wrong. Maybe I am bad. Maybe I am just being fleshly by voting for this candidate. And it's the gaslighting of the big Eva types that have led to what you're seeing now. But it's also the reason why you're seeing such a huge break off of very staunch, very principled people coming out of the Christian movement that now have very big voices.
Now, I do wonder, that stat Brubaker threw out there about Super Tuesday, 15% turnout for District 2. Maybe that has something to do with it being brand new, but I don't know. Maybe because that is a problem in Alabama. If you want to view it as such, it is a big problem in terms of the energy. And part of me suspects if Alabamians, especially conservative Alabamians, had a particular type of voice and message thrown to them, they would be very happy and very excited. But for some reason, we're sort of slumbering still in this state.
I would think so. There's a lot of people that they make assumptions in this state about what it's going to do, what its policies are, and most people don't pay enough attention to realize that the only thing that gets their leaders in this state and even nationally to pay attention is calling for change, both at the ballot box and through various forms of advocacy, whatever. Most people are kind of just lazy, and they assume that, whatever's going to happen is going to happen, or they just assume that, hey, if Donald Trump gets in, everything else will take care of itself. So you don't see people showing up. And so if you're a part of a state, if you're someone who thinks if Donald Trump gets elected, everything's going to be Gucci, and you understand fundamentally that this state is going to overwhelmingly vote in support of Donald Trump, then you're not going to be very motivated to get out there and vote for Caroline Dobson.
Well, and some of this is a structural problem with our government in general.
Yeah.
The ideal of the original system is that what mattered most was a local election, and it's obvious now that the main election Americans care about is a presidential election. And you and I have both been to like local board meetings and city council meetings, and you do realize that even the earnest member on that board who once gets things done, how restricted they are by federal law in particular. And so there is,
Well, look at what is it, Virginia and Alabama? It's like, hey, you can't remove illegal voters from your rolls because Big Brother says so. It's like,
right.
Huh?
we got away with it this long. You didn't catch it 60 days before the election, so tough.
Yeah, it's
That
ridiculous.
really just chaps me.
Or how about all the other laws that Alabama passed? Even the abortion one that when it had been blocked for years before Roe versus Wade got overturned. So many other things that have gotten challenged in the federal courts by these advocacy organizations that judge shop constantly and let the feds do their dirty work. And states aren't allowed to govern the way that they want to because, you know, you got 9 jackasses in robes up there in Washington who can chop and masticate the Constitution to say whatever they want it to, and then you know the states are hamstrung. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? 272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical. And they're at All Pro. They're ready to help you out. 'Tis the season to get at least a basic checkup of that
definitely.
HVAC system. And it could be you're running both the AC and the heater at this time of year.
Could be running the AC this weekend. I think Rich said tomorrow's going to be 88.
Oh.
But then Monday we start taking the dive. Hopefully
Right.
this is the real fall.
What is that smell when you first turn on the heater?
You don't want to know. You don't.
But you should get it checked out
Yeah.
before you start throwing it on.
Yeah, you do.
And All Pro is ready to help you in that regard. Maybe it is time for a brand new unit. It could be you're 15 years in, 20 years in, and that thing's rattling and making noise. Well, the good news is they have financing available with approved credit, and they can also do a checkup of your electrical system, and they specialize in installing Generac generators.
Yeah.
Which is a great idea, not only to keep the power on when storms roll through. We've seen very stark examples of that in the past few months with the hurricanes that rolled through the southeast. But treat it not just like a cost, like this is going to cost me money. Treat it as an investment because it really does up the value of your home. It gives
Sure
you
does.
peace of mind and it improves the value of your home. So check them out today. You can always go to allproheatingair.com or give them a call at 301-1961. That's 301-1961. And be sure to tell those folks there at All Pro that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Don.
Hey, Don. How you doing?
Pretty good. I wanted to comment. You know, Dick's talking about turnout. You know, I think a dirty little secret, though, is blacks are not turning out either. You know, if we had had a decent candidate for mayor, we wouldn't have Mayor Reed. It is my feeling that Dawson probably has a good chance because I think there is enthusiasm to vote for Trump, and I don't think black turnout has been that great. You know, you have the older blacks that believe in vote, but the younger ones ain't that into it. But you brought up the kicking of the non-citizens off the rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Have you read the law that talked about what the penalties are for a non-citizen to not vote?
I have not.
You should read it because it goes down on the penalties. There's an exception to the penalties. It says that if you think you have a right to vote, the penalties don't go for you. And I think that's what the Democrats are pushing. It's just like the asylum law. The asylum law doesn't say you come and plead asylum, we'll fly you around the country.
Right.
It says you have the right to apply, and we'll do a court thing. But
yeah, and I wrote about this for 1819 News a couple weeks ago in the context of that lawsuit against Wes Allen, and it very is clear that the status quo, the legal status quo from, let's say, the civil rights era has been openness in elections. You better not suppress the vote. But with millions of illegals now in the country and let in through that asylum programs and other ways, a lot of folks, not just conservatives, independents, are worried about honesty of elections. And state after state after state, not just Alabama and Virginia this time, for a few years now, a long time, have tried to create a verification aspect of citizenship, and they've been blocked by the federal courts. And so the legal status quo is just unbalanced and biased.
But the penalties don't apply if you think you are a citizen or have the right to vote.
Right.
And I guarantee you Democrats are probably going off that to get people to go vote that you won't go to jail because you have the right to vote. Joey, who is your city councilor?
Oh, I think it's Grimes. In County Downs, I think it's Ed.
Mine is Jen Wright, which is worthless. But you know, none of these guys seem to know how the cooperative district is made up and how members are put on the board. I talked to Jen Wright. He said, "Oh, that's all county. We ain't got nothing to do with it." But the city, the county, and all these people are part of the entities and it's up to these people to put the people on the board. We need to put somebody, go to our council bed, and they have the authority to put somebody on that board, and put somebody that's not part of the clique, that's part of the Chamber of Commerce or Doug Singleton's friend, and put somebody on the board that will actually watch over the chicken coop. How about you?
Oh, here.
100%.
Yeah, I think that's
Why
wise.
don't we get up a campaign with these councilmen? Grimes would be probably willing to put you on. Let's get it. They have the right to put somebody on. These people were elected for what elected, but they were placed on the board for 4 years. And this junk thing over there called Whitewater, it's been 4 years. It's time for them to be putting new people on that board, and somebody needs to be watching for the citizens. So it would, you got the voice and platform. Let's get somebody that will actually watch over the damn thing that represents taxpayers.
Well, it's a good idea. We can talk with Grimes and others. But
I mean, they have the right to put people on that board, but they're ignorant. My guy Jim Wright said, that every time I ask them about it, said that's the county. They want to run from it because the thing is going under. It is an albatross. It's going to cost you. I think you said $2 million a year to run the thing, but that if it doesn't even count the $2 billion that they're taking from equipment taxes to pay the bond money.
Yep.
So it's probably taking $4 million a year for that thing that nobody even goes to over there.
I agree with you, and I think
let's get somebody on the board that watch over. Push our councilman. They have the right to put somebody on the board.
that's one good angle. And also, as we talked about before, a forensic audit from the state level, get somebody on that would be, I think, very useful as well.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate the call, Don.
You don't know who you can trust with that audit. Get somebody on it because they're all in the clique.
Well, I appreciate it as always, Don. Thanks, man. 272-9228. Quick break. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Looking for insurance, or maybe you're just not satisfied with your current carrier? How does quality coverage with local service and competitive rates sound to you? The folks at Stark Agency offer just that. Whether you need insurance for your business, car, home, or life, Stark Agency can help. As an independent insurance agency with over 20 of the top insurance carriers, Stark is sure to find the perfect match for you and your loved ones. Visit their site at starkagency.com or give them a call at 334-263-5535 for a quote today.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Welcome back, folks. Something got screwed up with the music. I don't know what happened there, but hey, welcome back to the show. Let's go to Ray. Hey, Ray, how you doing? Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet,
I'm
folks.
doing better than yesterday.
Yeah.
Really? Through Atlanta, I'm back to Prattville. Hallelujah.
You made it back. That's good to hear.
I tell you what, it's really, really pretty this time of year up in the North Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to eat dinner with Jacob and Emma last night, which was nice, but there's no place like home.
Right.
I found myself when I was having to pay for dinner because they never show up with their wallet, clicking my heels 3 times. It didn't work.
It didn't work.
Yeah, and then after we got through with dinner, Emma said, "Hey, I'm coming home tomorrow because I've got to go to a baby shower." I'm like, well, "Why did we go?
Right.
Why did you tell me to take you out to eat?" She just grinned from ear to ear.
Because you're my daddy.
I feel like I was totally taken advantage of.
Yes, you were.
Yeah, but hey, you know what? They're your baby girls. You just gotta love them.
Yep.
Yeah, we're blessed to have them. Hey, and if you want to be blessed with new flooring, call Prattville Carpet at 285-8117. How'd you like that tie-in? That went in perfect.
That's pretty good. That was nicely done. You should think about
That was a good
broadcasting.
tie-in.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that was like I sounded professional and everything.
When you call 285-8117, folks, be sure to tell him you heard Ray sounding like a radio broadcaster himself here on the Radio with Joe and Eddie.
And hey, we're open tomorrow at the store, 9 to 1. So stop by and fill in, put your name in that hat for that free countertop.
Ah, yes, still going on. You got to stop by in person, though, folks.
That's right.
Appreciate it, Ray.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, guys.
See you, buddy.
Glad he is in a better mood today. As I'm in a better mood. Though I've noticed, like, as the election gets closer, we have folks who are like the polar opposite. Like, there's a lady named Jennifer Williams that keeps commenting. And, she's not being nasty, so fine. But she is, like, on the whole other side of, like, January 6th, overturning things. He's been charged with how many felonies at this point? And it makes you just step back and realize, man, what a different world where some folks are living in. You could be at the grocery store, getting some bread, and that person right next to you, man, what universe are they in compared to you? You got to wonder what mental space. And I'm not just talking politics, but what a world we live in. But, thanks for watching and listening and commenting. Romix Angler says it is usually a happier time to have kids or grandkids.
That's a good time.
I would agree. I have lived not having kids and having kids is far superior.
Yeah.
Or which one, kids or grandkids? Which is more fun?
Well, I enjoy the grandkids because I can spoil them and give them all the sugar I want, and then send them home. And mom and daddy got to deal with it.
No consequences for old Eddie.
But I consider that payback because my grandparents did that with them. So
it's a Gore Vidal line because I think he was raised by his grandfather.
Yeah.
Never have children, only have grandchildren.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Gotta like the irony.
Although, having my son was great, though.
I know my parents love being grandparents.
Yeah, it is great. I mean, and I hate saying this, I'll probably get in trouble, but say the parents don't allow certain kind of behavior, but granddaddy goes, it's all right, kid, we'll be all right.
Yeah,
all right, just don't do that around your mama. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
it's kind of popular. It's good to be the popular one. You don't have to be
I'm
the
learning that
tyrant
uncle can do that too.
Oh yeah, you can be the cool uncle.
Yeah, but uncles, grandparents aren't the person you go to like tell them, hey, I smoke pot or something like that. That's the
I
uncle's
screwed
job.
up.
That's
How do I tell my parents?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't even want to think about that. Lucy just turned 1.
Yeah. My brothers better snitch them out so quick. If they don't rat my kids out immediately, they are dead to me.
So, what did we learn today?
I learned going on a field trip with your grandkids is one of the best things you can ever do in life.
I learned Duke was red bone. Didn't call that one.
And I learned that, man, it's good to see Brian Dawson.
Oh, it was
Hadn't
great to
seen
see
him in
Brian.
a while.
Yeah, he's all right.
He's all right. But good show today, fellas. Y'all stay tuned. Happy Hour with Greg Vidal. He's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Jason Weicker. Both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris campaigning today in Texas. Mr. Trump meeting with Border Patrol agents and the mother of a young girl who was killed by an illegal migrant. Harris, meanwhile, in Houston, cavorting with a bunch of famous entertainers. The Biden administration seeking information about the state of competition when it comes to air travel, saying it wants to learn more about the effect of mergers and joint ventures. In the meantime, Spirit Airlines cutting jobs, selling off jets worth millions of dollars as the budget carrier aims to cut costs amid looming financial struggles. Spirit says it has identified $80 million of cost-cutting measures. Boys this summer, set for the Fall Classic, Game 1 of the World Series tonight in L.A., the Dodgers and the Yankees. This is SRN News.
The socialists who want to move into the White House have a lot of plans for your money. One of them is to control the price of food, and this is just the start. Could 401ks and IRAs be next on their agenda? It might sound far-fetched, but so did price fixing just months ago. Hi, Donald Trump Jr. here. If you've spent decades building your nest egg, you can act now to stop your savings from falling into the hands of the socialists. It's why Americans are turning to gold, the ultimate safe haven in uncertain times. To see how easy it is to diversify your retirement with gold, get a free